855-450-3733. You can call in and talk about whatever you want on this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Daryl.
And Johnson.
And Daryl, you told me some disturbing news right before the show, and I think we got to start off with it. Google apparently can control elections now?
Yes, or at least that's the claim based on some research that a journalist did. And he's figured out that through some various experimentation that up to 80% of undecided voters in certain demographic groups can be manipulated based on search results from Google. And, well, we've got an election coming up, and the low end of undecided voters was 20% of undecided voters who were manipulated by Google results.
That'll take care of just about everybody in a general election. I don't know of a general election that had that kind of disparity since maybe Reagan and Mondale. It's been a long time since
Right.
It's been a long time since more than 20% has separated the two candidates.
And he says that given that many elections are won by small margins, Google has the power, even without intentionally trying to do so, they have the power to flip up to 1/4 of all national elections across the entire world.
Wow. So how is this the case? I mean, I get that if Google was being nefarious, that could feed bad information, kind of like, like doing a hit ad. You've heard the negative ads, as they call them, during
Yes.
during the election cycle. Did you know that Johnson has killed babies with a hammer? Right, like these kind of silly things that they say, and then they're loosely based on facts.
I try to do this as frequently as possible.
Yeah.
Whenever I get the opportunity.
I meant to say baby bunnies, and somehow I just dropped the bunnies. Anyway,
You would drop the bunny. Mark Edge drops bunnies. Don't vote for Mark Edge.
Mark Edge admits to dropping bunnies on air.
There's the clip.
So
I mean, if they were running their search engine like a negative ad, certainly they could do that. But how do they do this?
He says there are at least 3 very real scenarios whereby Google, without the leader's knowledge, so without the CEO or whoever is behind Google, without their knowledge, Google could shape or even decide the election next year. Whether or not Google executives see it this way, the employees who constantly adjust the search giant's algorithms are manipulating people every minute of every day. The adjustments they make increasingly influence our thinking, including, it turns out, our voting preferences. What we call in research the search engine manipulation effect turns out to be one of the largest behavioral effects ever discovered.
Wow.
Or it's actually just reflecting behavior.
He writes, our comprehensive new study just published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences includes the results of 5 experiments we conducted with more than 4,500 participants in 2 countries.
Now, Johnson, you say that this is could be potentially just reflective of people's actual thoughts, but
it's kind of how search engines work, but yeah.
I get, when, as a layperson, when something's published in the National Academy of Sciences publication, I'm of the opinion that it's going to be double-checked and verified, and other people are going to be like, hogwash, or that's absolutely true.
I wonder how much stuff they published about, say, global warming.
I'm sure they've published quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not one who denies global warming. From what I can tell, carbon dioxide in models increases.
Not global warming, anthropogenic global warming.
Climate change.
Yeah, whatever the term du jour is.
There used to be polar
nonsense.
ice caps, and now there's still polar ice caps, but the glaciers aren't as big.
By the way, before everybody goes, yeah, the guy said that global warming wasn't real, I got to turn. I'm an atheist who respects science, so I also respect being a real skeptic. And sorry, these scientists get busted over and over and over and over again because they're lying to get funding. So sorry, I don't trust that stupid story because there is contention on anthropogenic global climate change.
I tend to, if a scientist says something's happening, and there's a bunch of scientists that say that thing is happening, I tend to err on that side. However, I don't think that turning it over to the government is going to be a very good idea at all.
Right.
So if it is a way to sell green cars or more windmills or solar panels, fine by me. If that can turn things around, then that's cool with me.
So as far as Johnson, the point you said of, search results just tend to show what people are searching for. But I've had things to where I've had people say, I did a Google search for fill in the blank and it came up with these results, and something totally unrelated was like the third thing. And then I did a search for the same thing and got totally different results. So I think that, either the results are being manipulated with by the Google bots, or based on my previous searches, it's swaying what I see as results.
Yes, both of those things are true.
Right.
Searches are being manipulated by the Google bots based on what you have previously searched. Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
And so what you're saying does not necessarily counter what they're saying here, that Google's algorithms are manipulating what people see in results
based on their own personal choices. But that's what I'm saying, is that it's the search engines are reflecting their own, people's own preferences and biases. It's the same thing as Facebook. Facebook's, kind of creating a bubble for people where they don't see things that they don't like.
Yeah,
right, but Facebook,
a bubble in the sense of like your own little bubble, as opposed to your own little world.
I just said a few minutes ago that I am an atheist. I don't see too many religious posts on my Facebook, which is probably a good thing, because every time I do, I post things harassing the person who posted something religious.
It's probably a lot better for everybody if you don't see very many religious posts.
It very much is.
But remember the thing...
Atheists are so much fun. An atheist, a vegan, and a CrossFitter walk into a bar. You know how we know? They told everybody within 2 minutes.
So, just talking about Facebook real quick, remember they came out not too long ago and said that they were doing this experiment to basically manipulate people into being depressed or not depressed by having people not interact with them. So, Facebook is manipulating things, so it's not just like you get out of Facebook what you put into Facebook, or you get out of Google what you search for on Google.
That's a misnomer. You just associated what Facebook is doing with what Google is doing without any sort of proof or evidence to back up the fact that Google is manipulating things. Facebook has admitted that it's experimenting on its users. Google has not.
Right, but the search or the research that was done here is alleging that Google is manipulating the results.
Or could.
They're saying is manipulating results, could influence the election results.
All right.
Because of the search engine manipulation effect.
Hold on.
Because it is virtually invisible as a form of social influence, the effect is so large, and because there are currently no specific regulations anywhere in the world that would prevent Google from using and abusing the technique.
So I was actually asking Daryl to hold on, but go ahead.
I want to say, so basically, if you're someone who sits around searching for Ron Paul stories all the time, and then you get shown stuff about Ron Paul, is that really influencing the results? I don't think it is. If you search for Donald Trump all day long and you get shown more stories about Donald Trump, is that really it's cause and effect? I mean, Google didn't cause somebody to now they voted for Donald Trump because Google showed them stories. No, they were specifically seeking that out, and so Google showed them more of what they were looking for.
But it's entirely possible that people are only searching for things because it's popping up. Here's what people are searching for.
Maybe Google's increasing self-selection bias.
Are you concerned with Google manipulating results? 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE or LRN.FM on Skype. Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to purse.freetalklive.com and open an account. Do this right now, don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to purse.freetalklive.com right now and get signed up and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 25% off of everything on Amazon through purse.freetalklive.com. It's purse.freetalklive.com.
That's the sound your brain makes when you realize you're buying something and forgot the coupon. Online or in a store, knowing that you're missing a deal is the worst. You need the app from Retail Me Not right now. Get thousands of coupons from 50,000 stores like Kohl's, Domino's, Best Buy, and more with crazy deals like 60% off, free shipping, and free gifts with purchase. You can get a text invite to download the Retail Me Not app 100% free right now for Apple or Android. Just text the code UPDATE to 42767. Then just show your phone at checkout to save. It literally couldn't be easier. It's 2015. Keep your coupons in your phone. Stop what you're doing and text UPDATE to 42767. Listeners will get a text with a link to download it 100% free. Never forget another coupon again. Text the code UPDATE to 42767 right now. That's UPDATE to 42767. Message and data rates may apply. For terms and privacy, visit retailmenot.com.
No way. Is that
Your phone. Daniel,
Hey,
what's your topic, buddy?
my topic. Well, I was going to talk about the Google stuff, and I was also going to mention the 97% for global warming thing.
Okay, where are you calling from?
Calling from Tennessee.
How you listen to the show?
I'm listening to it on the app.
Hold the line.
Sources. At no time in history have precious metals been more important, certainly not in my 22 years in the industry. The dollar has lost over 90% of its value in the last 60 years. No fiat currency has ever survived the government printing presses. Ours is not immune. The time is now to be proactive. 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Anything tied to the dollar is at risk. CDs, annuities, 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, you name it, so decide. Do you want to leave a legacy of wealth or debt for your family? The choice is yours. Call me at 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Be proactive, not reactive. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 116.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free tactical scarf for a limited time with any body armor package. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
Now, more Free Talk Live. Call in toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Yeah! Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Talking about how Google apparently is manipulating search results. And I think to some extent, I guess I knew this, but that those manipulations could, if nefarious, change election results. And that's some, very interesting stuff. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can call in and, tell us what you think about it all. First off, I want to tell you about purse.freetalklive.com. It's also saveatpurse.com. What you can do is you can go there and you can buy anything, just about anything you want at Amazon. And Amazon has everything you need for your life pretty much. And you can get between 15 and 25% off. That's a big raise that you'd be getting in sort of your day-to-day buying if you choose to switch over. Now, the catch is you're going to have to use Bitcoin. And this is your reason to switch to Bitcoin.
I'm going to hijack the show after we're done with the ad because I want to talk about Purse.
Okay. We'll go with it. Well, this is the ad. Saveatpurse.com.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about Purse more because I have some stories to go to talk about with Purse. So I've 2 experiences with Purse thus far. The first experience, my order was canceled on me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, which was not good. But this is going to end up being a positive story about Purse, so hold on. So the first experience with Purse, I was angry. I was unhappy. My order was canceled. Now, the reason my order was canceled is because I tried for a 1-day sale, and then I tried to get a 20% discount off of like what was already like a 30% discount, and the sale ended, and then Purse has sort of a policy about that, and you have to like earn your way up to getting a certain discount.
Yes.
And I hadn't gotten there yet because it was my very first sale. So once the sale ended and that item was no longer available at that price, they came in and shut me down. But there was like really not a very good explanation, and I didn't see any sort of contact or support or anything like that. And so that was my fault. I didn't look around enough. The links are right there in the menu. So I discovered that when I decided to give Purse a second chance when there's a particular spice rack that I own that I think is really cool and it's unique. And it's like this rotating carousel that has automatic measures in the bottom of the spice containers. And it appears to be no longer being manufactured. And the original seller...
Isn't that the way it is? You find a spice rack that you really like, and then they stop manufacturing it.
Right. So I'm like, I freak out, and I'm like, I've got to find this thing. I look for it online. I'm like, because I only have 2 of them, which only allows me, they're 12 per, so I only have 24 containers of spices, and that's just not enough spices. You need to have more than that. So I decided to get 2 more for the other side of my stove. And so I look around, I finally find this thing, I order it, and that night, so I find a buyer on Purse, I get my 20% discount, and everything seems to be going great. I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually cool and easy and good. I get the product today, open up the box, and I'm like, why are there Post-its on the boxes for the products? And then the Post-its read, not broken, broken. What? What? So I'm like, what is going on? And I open it, and sure enough, one of the ones that I've gotten is broken.
Well, thanks, Amazon.
Yeah. Some Amazon, and it was fulfillment by Amazon. So Amazon or some seller to Amazon, some seller who was on Amazon just decided to ship out some broken products like, here, maybe somebody won't return it or have a...
It was the new guy.
Yeah, I don't know. So what was crazy about that is that, now, because it's through Purse, I've got to deal with my buyer, right? And figure that out because he's going to have to be the person who has to deal with the return and all that stuff.
It's at saveatpurse.com can help you. Yeah, they'll help you with that. They actually have a...
Yeah, they've got a support system. So I contacted support, but it actually ended up that luckily the buyer, and this is actually where it becomes, and I was going to mention the buyer's name, but he didn't want to be mentioned. So basically what happened was that the buyer was very, very communicative. And so we just kind of worked it out between us, and he contacted Amazon, got a thing. He said, I'm going to get it shipped to you. He asked for me to release the coins in it, the Bitcoin in advance. And I said, look, I can't really do that. But I said, here, hopefully support will get back with us. And if they do, I authorize them to release half of it because I got half of my, purchase was good. So you get that. And hopefully everything will work out. And, in the next 2 days, I'll have the rest of my product.
Thank goodness I haven't had any problem like you've had. Let's go to Daniel calling in from Tennessee. Daniel, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, guys. Yeah, about the Google and voter manipulation. I mean, it's already been going on for years, and you guys actually know about it, but you might not realize it. You ever heard of a guy called Rick Santorum?
Yes. I have heard of
what happened. Remember what happened to him with the whole spreading Santorum thing?
Yes.
That right there is a classic case of voter manipulation, and how that can occur. To to the extent where you don't even need the spreading Santorum. When you just enter a candidate's name, it will pop up with the suggested results, which are based on things that other people are searching for. So a candidate with heavily negative search volume is going to have negative terms associated with them.
Sorry, spreading Santorum just sounds to me like you're talking about a product like Santorum Spread. By the makers who brought you Nutella, we have Santorum Spread.
It made me think of an organic fertilizer.
Well, that's probably not far from it if you look it up. And we're not going to talk anymore about what spreading Santorum is, because that's not appropriate for the airwaves.
Well, I guess you're right that these things are manipulations, but they aren't really manipulations by Google, right?
No, they are not directly by Google, but it's a built-in function of their search algorithm that it will provide those suggested search results depending on the volume of searches, and also I'm sure they localize those searches. So if people in your state are searching more on the negative, you'll get the negative terms. If they're searching more on the positive, you'll get the positive terms. If you want an example of this, just type in Google in the Google search box, Republicans are or Democrats are, and just look at all the suggested searches.
Well, let me ask you this. So if it's why do they break it out by state? So, for instance, there's a county in Maine. I'm not going to take a shot at it, but it's Presque Isle, I know, is in that county, and it's bigger than the state of Connecticut. Texas has like 160 counties in it, compared to, say, Vermont. When you look at these places, a state is a really poor way to section people out because they're really just arbitrary lines. Does Google really use such a crappy method of sectioning people out?
Well, I'm sure they have more complex ways of dividing things up. I was just providing an example of some sort of geographic restriction as far as how they optimize the results.
Thanks so much.
I'm sure they have better algorithms than just by the state.
Let's hope so. Thanks for the call, Daniel.
Yep.
855-450-3733. Did you hear how good he sounds? You can sound that good too if you call on Skype. Our username is LRN.FM. Apparently, there's 254 counties in Texas.
Yeah, I thought it was 200 and something.
God, I can't believe that many. I mean, those are little squares all over the place.
There are some of those counties that only have like 90 people that vote.
Apparently, Google's outsmarted me. It won't give me autocomplete options for either Republicans are or Democrats are. It'll give me autocomplete options for if I just type in Democrats in a space or Republicans in a space, but not for R. I think they've probably wised up to that trick.
What do you think Democrats and Republicans are? 855-450-3733.
Identical.
855-450-FREE or LRN.FM on Skype.
So I say to Mark at lunch, look, I keep hearing from the government that, they're worried someday ISIS may get here. And I go, Doug, Garland, Texas, Mohammed cartoon shooting. ISIS is already here. I'm not waiting for these people to defend me. If they don't know ISIS is here already, they got no clue. I'm taking care of myself. Guns80.com, AR-15 kits, 30-shot magazines, great prices. They've even got the Hillary special. Guns80.com. That's 844-2-GUNS80, Guns80.com.
The human body is more than 60% water. Your brain and muscles are 75% water. And your blood is 92% water. Water's vital to your body, and alkalizing your water is the key to keep it running at its best. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops keep your entire body healthy, boosts energy, promotes weight loss, and even fights cancer. Call 800-518-7615 or go to alkavision.com to find out more. That's ALKAvision.com.
Hi, my name is Scott Fuchs, teacher and rowing coach for over 14 years. I was sluggish, overweight, on prescription drugs, and only 30-something. Fortunately, I was referred to Dr. Z, and happy to say Dr. Z's all-natural protocols over a consistent course resolved my health issues. I'm in the best shape of my life, and most importantly, on 0 medications.
I'm Dr. Zdanowski, author of Evology, trained as a primary care physician, surgical manipulation under anesthesia, expert in nutrition, diet, weight loss, immune system, and I specialize in chiropractic. My 15 years of professional experience has taught me the 4 keys to vibrant health: a balanced musculoskeletal system, an integrated nervous system, a flowing lymphatic system, and a body filled with over 90 essential nutrients. This has been a secret too long. Actualize your potential, reverse disease. Call me, Dr. Z. 201-945-1177, 201-945-1177, evolyourself.com.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Do you owe the IRS money? Has the IRS garnished your wages or put a lien against your house? The IRS has the power to make you pay back what they claim you owe and will stop at nothing to collect. There is a solution. Call Signature Tax now. Speak with our professionals and feel the weight of your tax burden lifted from your shoulders. Call now for your free and confidential analysis. 800-481-3147. Again, that's 800-481-3147. 800-481-3147.
This is Free Talk Live. Call in toll free. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Free Talk Live. You can call in and give us your opinion about Google. Perhaps, well, certainly they are manipulating search results, but mostly just to give you better search results. But they could potentially, the claim is by this study, that they could potentially change an election, that they could sway as many as 20% of the electorate with manipulations. And that's kind of it's a scary power that might be given to an organization. If you heard the last segment and you heard Daniel calling in, Daniel's listening on our app. You can go get our app for free at listen.freetalklive.com. There's lots of different ways to listen there at listen.freetalklive.com. And, from a telephone number you can call in to listen. Of course, a link to all our great radio stations, the satellite options, all the ways that you can listen at listen.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Aaron calling in from the city of brotherly love to talk about Google. Aaron, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, something Johnson said kind of got me going about what doesn't. Anyways, the self-selecting thing, and it occurred to me that it could self-select for partisanship, that the gulf between the right and the left could be accentuated if I search Ron Paul and my results are more libertarian leaning, and someone else searches Ron Paul and they see a bunch of hit pieces on him pop up at the top, it could color the way they look at a person based on a neutral search of just their name, depending on what kind of affiliations they've searched for in the past.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely occurring.
Yeah.
I think that there's absolutely like the self-selection bias. I think it's widening the divide amongst people in general, all like this social media that's creating these sort of bubbles. I don't like these bubbles. I never have.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know whether that's that's the result of what's going on now as the result of this, but it seems like the gulf is widening and widening, and I gotta kind of wonder to myself is why in the world should somebody who desperately wants Bernie Sanders to be president have to be ruled by Ted Cruz if he's the one who wins the election? I don't know. I'm just picking one from either side. Why would we want that? Shouldn't that person be able to have Bernie Sanders in charge of their government? And shouldn't the person who wants Ted Cruz be able to have that? Why can't we just...
As long as I get none of the above, then yes.
Mark, you don't seem to understand how this government thing works. It's
I
about
know how
controlling
it works.
other people.
That's exactly what it's about. It's about shoving a bit into your neighbor's mouth, putting your boot on the back of their head, and steering them all over the place for 4 years and laughing while they do it. Ah, ha, 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 you're dumb.
Some
We
people
win.
prefer either the right boot or the left boot.
They do. Go ahead, Aaron.
But what happens when somebody at Google gets the bright idea that say, hey, I love Ron Paul, and I'm going to just make it so that positive results for this person show up all the time. Like, I'm not going to slant it to the right or to the left, but I'm just going to say, yeah, this candidate needs more positive results at the top of his Google search, and this one needs less.
Yeah, if that
That'd
happens,
be such a simple thing to do.
If that happens, it's going to certainly be, lawsuits and all sorts of crazy things would go down as a result of that.
What would happen if a person who worked at the NSA, say, wanted to spy on their girlfriend or wife through their email or telephone calls or something like that? Oh, we know, because they do that crap all the time. What would happen if a group of people at the NSA decided that they didn't like, say, what one politician or a group of politicians or, maybe one particular party or some federal judges, what their rulings might be, so they decided to use what they could find out of their email or telephone calls to sway their opinion?
I'm fairly certain they probably do that too.
They may very well. At this point, we don't have any proof, but
Well, we do know that the FBI is investigating pro-peace groups that they claim might be somehow funded by somebody from a foreign country. And if you're not familiar with what group I'm talking about, it's antiwar.com, and they've been investigated by the FBI for damn near 15 years.
Yeah, they're constantly getting investigated. Anything else, Aaron?
Just for all we know, that the government's already manipulating certain people's search results as a matter of national interest. Maybe there's a terrorist or somebody that they want to lead in a certain direction. And when does mission creep take over and allow them to start manipulating larger and larger swaths with a gag order on Google that we may never know?
Well, generally when the government's trying to influence a terrorist, there's somebody that works for the FBI that is there with the terrorist saying, I will give you a bomb if you go blow this place up. And then when the guy gets there with the fake bomb, the FBI arrest him, and then they say, aren't you glad we were here to arrest this guy that had this bomb?
That we gave it to him.
Yeah, and then
It's
it comes
made
out
of wood.
like 3 days later that it was a fake bomb that they had given to the guy.
Yeah, sold it to him. Whatever.
Right.
Aaron,
But
thanks for the call.
Oh,
all right, appreciate it. Bye. 855-450-3733. Or you can sound as good as he did by calling in on Skype. The username is lrn.fm. So I guess I'm not worried. I don't know why I'm not worried that Google could manipulate the results, but for some reason I'm not. Is there any more information in this article?
Yeah, so the author here writes, according to Google Trends, at the time of this writing, Donald Trump is currently trouncing all other candidates in search activity in 47 of 50 states.
This is proof that somebody somewhere is manipulating some results, right?
Could this activity push him higher in search rankings, and could higher rankings in turn bring him more support? Most definitely, depending, that is, on how Google employees choose to adjust numeric weightings in the search algorithm. Google acknowledges adjusting the algorithm up to 600 times per year, but the process is
Twice
secret.
a day?
So what effect Trump's success will have on how he shows up in Google searches is presumably out of his hands. And something that I will admit that, like looking around on Twitter, every now and then I'll see these things that are, like trending, and I'll click on things that I otherwise would have never even looked at just because it shows up on the side. And my guess is that there are some people that are searching for Donald Trump because they look under news and then they see Donald Trump as the fourth header. Oh, well, let's see what's going on with this guy. And then they click Donald Trump. And it's very, very possible And I'm not going to go as far as to say that, Google is intentionally trying to do anything. And I don't think that the authors of this are saying that it's intentional. They're just saying it's possible.
Yeah.
That Google somehow, because of the way the algorithms work, could wind up having this effect. So, because of my own habits to where I've searched for things that just happen to show up in the side of here's a breaking story or here's a top story, it's very possible that people are searching for things that they otherwise would not have and then wind up getting their opinion changed because of it.
Let's go to Steve calling in from, I don't know, he's calling in on Skype from someplace. Steve, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how do I sound? All right?
Pretty good.
All right, good. Well, I'm calling in because Mark, I contacted you, and we're making Liberty Space Interest happen with the ads. That's great.
So tell people what Liberty Space Interest is.
Thank you. Yes, it's Liberty Space Interest. It's my attempt to highlight, network, and connect people that might be interested in the way I like to pitch it is bringing liberty to space. Like if people think that that's something they want to do and make a reality, I want to try and facilitate it, and whatever I can do to help make that come to fruition, I want to make that happen. So you can go to libertyspaceinterest.com and you can check out all the ways you can discuss and connect there. But the reason I wanted to call in was Daryl Johnson, Mark, you were one of my favorite Free Talk combos.
And
well, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, are we going into a break?
We are. Thanks for handling that. Why don't you tell us what you're going to talk about?
Oh, there's an asteroid apparently coming in September. It's not coming. It's not.
Hold the line. Apparently, we dodged another asteroid. Thank God. It seems like there's always one that's going to crush the Earth, and we dodge it. 855-450-3733. Tell us about the next near-death experience we're going to have. 855-450-FREE.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP, and right now you can try it risk-free for 21 days by calling 1-800-939-8536. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 21-day in-home trial. 1-800-939-8536. That's 1-800-939-8536.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to produce an endless supply of nano-sized silver solutions right from the convenience of your home. Silver Lungs. With the addition of our unique lung delivery system, respiratory infections are targeted directly, where traditional oral administration simply cannot reach. This pioneering method also preserves the original particle sizes and delivers your silver solution directly into the bloodstream. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
Do you owe the IRS money? Has the IRS garnished your wages or put a lien against your house? The IRS has the power to make you pay back what they claim you owe and will stop at nothing to collect. There is a solution. Call Signature Tax now. Speak with our professionals and feel the weight of your tax burden lifted from your shoulders. Call now for your free and confidential analysis. 800-481-3147. Again, that's 800-481-3147. 800-481-3147.
Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Block-It Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth, slide into a recession, or at worst, depression? Hi, Ted Anderson from Midas Resources. We all know when a company acts irresponsibly, divesting ourselves in a move towards safety is prudent. When the market becomes volatile, U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven. But what do you do when the U.S. government overextends itself and spends beyond its means? Many investors are turning toward gold as a common-sense alternative to traditional paper investments. Midas Resources has put together a powerful book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, discussing costs, benefits, risks, featuring full-color illustrations, weights, and measures. The book is free and can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. Paper investments are dwarfed by gold's 6,000-year history. Discover how gold may be right for you and your IRA by calling 800-686-2237. Whether buying or it's time for you to sell, the book is free. Call 800-686-2237.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
You're listening to Free Talk Live. Call in toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. We've been talking about, well, how Google is, of course, they manipulate search results. They do that for the purpose of providing you better results when you search. But there's a study that's come out that says that if they wanted to, they could manipulate results and change as much as the minds of as much as 20% of the electorate.
You're actually adding a few words to what is being said.
Okay.
What the claim is that without even realizing it, Google could wind up changing the minds of up to 20% of undecided voters.
I bet some politicians would be very interested in how they do that. I just told you how you can save some, say 15 to 25% on just about everything you need to buy in life by going to saveitpurse.com and buying it with Bitcoin. But to do so, you need to get some Bitcoin. The best way to do that is going through expresscoin.com. There you can get Bitcoin or Litecoin or Dogecoin, a variety of other cryptocurrencies. They make it fast, safe, easy, and inexpensive. They're a licensed money services business. Whether you're in the U.S. or Canada, you can use a check or money order to get your cryptocurrencies from expresscoin.com. They have an app to make it easy for you. Use coupon code FTL, and you can get up to $40 worth for no fee at all. expresscoin.com. The fees they do have are remarkably low. They're amongst the lowest in the business. expresscoin.com, coupon code FTL. Let's go back to Steve, who's telling us about, well, an asteroid that was supposed to come to Earth or something. Let's find out. Steve, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, no, I first heard about it from another libertarian blogger, Jeff Berwick. Sometimes I check in on his website, Dollar Vigilante. I look in and see what's being posted there. I actually first heard about it on Brian Sovereign's podcast. Brian was kind of like trying to debunk what Jeff Berwick was saying about Jeff was talking about Shemitah. It's I guess an ancient Jewish holiday is what Brian Sovereign was explaining.
All right.
And somehow like a devastation from the skies, like from the heavens, is like one of the things.
That's one of the things that happens on Shemitah. I mean, I like presents under the Christmas tree a lot better than whatever the hell is coming from the sky on Shemitah.
Yes, exactly. And so anyhow, it was weird. It's just been weird. And it's going, like Alex Jones picked it up, and Before It's News is on it, and it's getting weird. But anyhow, like I know there's sort of a wing of libertarians that I think are a little more prone to conspiracy or whatever. And for me, I think that's just maybe a little bit more because they don't have good experiences with maybe, I don't know, scientific or objective information. And so
It's
think
funny. I googled this because this is what I've heard about Jeff Berwick, and just taking it back to the Google story that we were just talking about, and whether or not results would be influenced. I mean, I just googled Jeff Berwick is insane, and the first result came up with this Shemitah story over and over again, because that's what I've heard, is that Jeff Berwick is kind of a lunatic. So, he
had some flat earther guy on his show not too long ago.
Maybe he just wants to see how people will react to it. I mean, flat earther, who believes that?
There actually are apparently some people that legitimately believe the earth is flat, and I would love to meet one of these people to try to understand time zones.
Well, here's what I wonder. One thing I think about Jeff Berwick, he's a relatively successful guy, and generally people don't get successful if they're foaming at the mouth crazy.
Are you out of your mind?
I don't think I am. But then again, I wouldn't know, would I?
There are a lot of people who get very, very successful who are out of their mind.
All right,
yes.
Yeah, tons of them.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah. I was just going to say, look at any pastor in any megachurch, and there you go.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And so, but anyhow, so to get a little more literacy, people, if asteroids, they're out there. There are, they are out there, and some of them could be dangerous, and I do think there's some legitimacy to that. So I want to, I called in just to kind of make that attempt to.
So what's up with this asteroid? What's it called?
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't even know. I honestly think it was something like, I think it was more like the prophecy is that something's going to come from the sky. And so,
well, that much is true. This time of year, every year in August, there's the, I can't remember what the name of the shooting stars or the meteorites or whatever, the field that we go through. But, you can always see a bunch of cool stuff at night in August.
Yeah. And
the Perseids.
Yeah. And so anyhow, what I wanted to point out, there is, if people are interested in a more legitimate, assessment of these kinds of things, what I recommend right now, because we have no private alternative, right? We have no privatized alternative to this, but this is the best that we've got so far, is the NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratories website. You can go there. And if you're really interested about, what asteroids are flying by, are there any of them have any legitimate risk? That's the best way, I think, to go about it, is go to the NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory website. You can Google, of course, we're going back to Google. You can go to the search engine, you can type in Near Earth Object Program, and it'll be probably at the top. And you can go there to get more familiar, be more literate, and hopefully not be as tricked by people who might want to try and convince you that there are some incoming, heavenly threats, when I really do not expect anything to happen.
I'm reading the story from Google here, and I'm telling you that I at this point I have been tricked, and I can't trust anybody at this point. They're manipulating the results. Why, when there's the shooting stars that happen during August, which are, I guess, some meteorites. What happens to the space station out there? Do these little things hit it and go right through? I mean, what would happen if? Aren't there a big field of them out there? How come they don't destroy the space station?
My understanding is they're at the mercy. They're at. Really, like those guys up there, they're at the mercy. There's a scene in Apollo 13 that I really like. Right after that, I think it was the oxygen tank is what there was circuitry on the oxygen tank that exploded on Apollo 13. The commander, they're trying to figure out what's going on, and the commander of the mission, Tom Hanks, plays the commander. They're like, was it space junk? Did we get hit by a meteor or by space junk or something? And he said, no. He says, we've been dead already. We've been fried and ejected out into open space if that had happened. I think you can do some maneuvering. You can try and find these fields that come in, and you can try and maneuver yourself out of the way. But there's so much energy, and that's what I like to try and show people and educate people on. There's so much energy in these very small objects that we really have no real armor.
They're just bullets zinging around out there.
They really are. They're so powerful.
Steve, thanks for the call.
Thank you.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Let's see if I can resume the call here and go to Tom. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen, from the soon-to-be free state of Jefferson.
Excellent.
Hey, in talking about Google, friends don't let friends do Google anymore.
What should we use?
Well, there's a co-host, Catherine Albrecht on GCN.
Yep.
And she's put together a thing called StartPage.
StartPage, yeah, she's worked with them, but StartPage uses Google results.
Yes. Yes,
but
they
it
do.
anonymizes the Google results, so Google doesn't know who you are.
Okay.
One of the things that really annoys me about Google is that you make a search on it and say you're, searching for cancer cures, and then all of a sudden all the advertising comes up on your pages for cancer cures. StartPage completely anonymizes it. They don't know who you are, where you're coming in from, or any other information about you. So you get neutral Google results.
Yeah, I use StartPage probably about half the time.
I don't know if you necessarily get neutral Google results, but like Google doesn't know who you are when you're searching.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Appreciate
so,
the
Mark,
call,
apologies,
Tom.
Did not mean to cut you off on that. So finish the thought about, you said you use StartPage?
I just don't remember how to make my browser do it. Sometimes I used to be really good about it, using StartPage all the time.
It's easy. Just go to startpage.com, and if you're using Firefox, just click Add to Firefox, or it'll have a link there to add whatever to.
I think that's the problem. I'm using Chrome these days. I get angry at one browser or another, and then I'll switch, and then I'll switch back, and it happens every 18 months or so.
As you should. Use Chrome and Gmail, and you should also use Google Voice, and give all your information to Google on one place so that they can properly monetize you and send you customized ads.
Google wants to be the mind of God.
Thanks.
We're not going to allow that.
Thanks, Tom. 855-450-3733. Does Google scare you? It sounds like they have a lot of power. 855.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom, and with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
Hi, Chuck Woolery here. I don't know about you, but I don't like taking pills for minor arthritis pain, and I don't like those patches either. But I've found something that works. Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream. It's a great product. It doesn't smell or burn, isn't greasy, and it works. And Australian Dream has an empty jar guarantee. You can use the whole jar. If you're not happy, you get your money back. But I doubt that you'll send it back, because this stuff works. Australian Dream is available at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart, Target, and other drugstores and supermarkets everywhere.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Hear Phil's Gang on the Future of Talk Radio, GCN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Members of the WDBJ TV staff in Roanoke, Virginia spoke out today about the murders of 2 colleagues who were killed yesterday while on live television by a disgruntled ex-employee of the station. Co-worker Nadine Mazer says she doesn't want to talk about gum investor Flanagan as she mourns the loss of Allison Parker and Adam Ward.
I don't have any words. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable talking about him. This isn't about him. This is about Allison and Adam and 2 lives that were lost and cut so short in such a horrible way.
Forensic psychiatrist Dr. Michael Werner says the on-air shootings in Virginia provide another example of the need to change how the nation deals with mental health issues.
We have to have a national infrastructure that deals with crisis mental illness, where you bring the care to people in a digestible form because they're invested in their anger.
Werner appeared on the Salem Radio Network. He says the murderer would never have voluntarily sought out counseling because he didn't want to get rid of his anger. There's been a shift in the storm path of Tropical Storm Erica.
The center we were tracking yesterday seems to have dissipated, and a new one formed a little to the south, and that does have some implications for the future track of the storm.
National Hurricane Center forecaster James Franklin, he says Floridians still need to watch Erica's progress. At least 4 people died from the storm on the island of Dominica. Members of a small Baptist church in southwest Georgia, where former President Jimmy Carter frequently teaches Sunday school, are putting a limit on the number of people who can attend. Starting this Sunday, seats in the church will be limited to 400 people. Carter's recent disclosure that he's being treated for cancer that spread to his brain drew more than 700 people to the church on Sunday. The 90-year-old Carter taught 2 classes and took photos. Organizers say that was a strain on him. On Wall Street, the Dow by 369 points, the Nasdaq rose 115. This is SRN News.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm, with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention! This is an important announcement for anyone who had surgery to implant a blood clot device. If you or a loved one had a surgery in the past 10 years and your doctor used an IVC filter to trap blood clots, call 800-281-3248 right now. These devices can be life-threatening, and you may be entitled to cash compensation. The FDA is evaluating adverse events caused by these blood clot devices, which can lead to serious injury and even death. These devices could break and lead to serious injury. Please call 800-281-3248 now. Time is limited. Call 800-281-3248 if you or a loved one has one of these dangerous blood clot devices, as you may be entitled to a cash award and compensation. Our toll-free phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-281-3248. That's 800-281-3248. 800-281-3248.
President Obama says New Orleans is moving forward after Hurricane Katrina.
Commemorating the 10th anniversary of the powerful hurricane which devastated New Orleans and the Gulf Coast, the president says the region has shown extraordinary resilience. He says the residents are an example of good people coming together after a tragedy to build a better future. Mr. Obama took a walking tour in New Orleans and met with residents who continue to rebuild their lives and communities a decade after the hurricane.
That is White House correspondent Greg Clugston reporting. A Kentucky county clerk has temporarily closed her office today, hours after again denying a marriage license to a same-sex couple. Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis has refused to issue marriage licenses to homosexual couples or straight couples in the 2 months since the U.S. Supreme Court legalized so-called homosexual marriage across the country. A note taped to the door says, "Sorry, our office is closed for computer upgrades." This is SRN News. The Pentagon Inspector General is investigating allegations that military brass may have lied to exaggerate progress in the battle against ISIS.
The probe reportedly began after a civilian analyst claimed he had evidence that officials at the U.S. Central Command were reworking conclusions of assessments that were being prepared for policymakers, including President Obama. A spokeswoman for the Inspector General's office declined comment. In one instance that raised eyebrows, a top-ranking U.S. general told reporters that ISIS was losing the war, even as Iraqi officials were reporting the group had captured the main government compound in Ramadi.
That's Wally Hines reporting. Washington State's governor is describing the massive fires burning in the state as a slow-motion disaster. Governor Jay Inslee spoke before heading out to meet firefighters who he said are exhausted but are committed to stopping the blazes. More details at srnnews.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
So I say to Mark at lunch, look, I keep hearing from the government that
they're worried someday ISIS may get here. And I go, duh, Garland, Texas, Muhammad cartoon shooting. ISIS is already here. I'm not waiting for these people to defend me. If they don't know ISIS is here already, they got no clue. I'm taking care of myself. Guns80.com, AR-15 kits, 30-shot magazines, great prices. They've even got the Hillary special. Guns80.com. That's 844-2-GUNS80, Guns80.com.
By now, you know the smart way to buy emergency food storage is calories per dollar. Ready Supply Foods sells you 50% more food for your money. GMO-free, 25-year shelf life, great tasting, and free shipping. You need 2,000 calories per day under ideal conditions. Most 30-day kits don't have enough calories to sustain you for more than a week. They just don't have enough nutrition to do the job. See the comparisons for yourself at ReadySupplyFoods.com. We are the new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Free Talk Live.
That's right, it is Free Talk Live, and you can give us a call at 855-450-3733. What we're talking about here is, well, Google apparently, Google manipulates search results, but they manipulate them in a way to sort of provide you better customer service. Now,
so is the claim.
Well, that's the idea, and hopefully that's the case. Now, we did get some advice on
the evil Google is in your results, manipulating your brain.
If you don't like it, use startpage.com. However, a lot of people use Google, so we're talking about sort of the news as opposed to the solution. And what the claim is by this study is that without even trying, apparently Google could potentially sway 20% of the electorate to vote sort of in a different way, thus changing the results of American elections. And
potentially 1/4 of all elections worldwide.
Yeah, you know what? And if you're going to stop Google from doing that, you know what? Then I think you need to stop MTV's stupid Rock the Vote campaign and every other Get Out the Vote campaign that exists, period. Because you know what? That also sways elections with low information, stupid people who come to the polls, who don't know what they're doing and shouldn't be voting in the first place. So if you're going to stop Google, you should also, and people who sit around reading the news and get influenced by Google, well, you know what? You should also stop the people coming to the polls who don't sit around reading the news. Those people maybe shouldn't be voting at all.
I've never been very fond of the Get Out the Vote campaigns because, like you say, it brings these low information voters to the polls. And, I mean, what do they have to add, really?
Yeah. And I hate using the phrase from, Republican talking points, which is low information voter. But
I've heard Democrats
really
use the term, too.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. I think it's a pretty accurate phrase. There's just some voters out there who are just dumb.
Well, I mean, if you gave the citizenship exam before people were able to vote, I think you'd find that a certain percentage, and I would imagine that percentage would be double digits, of people that vote couldn't pass the citizenship exam as it is given to people who are then, born outside of this country that are then able to vote after they take it.
I think you could eliminate a massive amount of the voting population simply by asking, who's the vice president?
If they couldn't answer that question, I think that would disqualify them.
My senior year of high school, the first thing that happened in my government class was the teacher passed out this pop quiz just to see where everybody is. And, didn't really think anything of it. Took the quiz. And then, one of these, because it doesn't count towards your grade, like pass it to your neighbor on the left, grade it, hand it back, blah, blah, blah. So after the scoring, she says, everybody that got over a 75, raise your hand. About half the class raised their hand. She said, congratulations, you just passed the U.S. citizenship test. The rest of you failed. So that was about half. And I would imagine that because that test has been changed a little bit and a lot of people are really, really dumb, that it would probably be well over half that would fail that test.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those dumb people would certainly know their favorite sports teams or their favorite actors and actresses. It's where their preferences lie. And if your preferences don't lie...
I'm not suggesting that doesn't necessarily make them, it's not a comment necessarily on their intelligence per se. Yes, I'm saying they're dumb. What I find to be dumb, the activity that's dumb, and not necessarily the person that's dumb, is if you aren't involved, you shouldn't vote. You're not involved. Stay uninvolved.
Right. If somebody asks me to give them advice on brain surgery,
right,
I would be a fool to give them advice. I would have to say, the first thing I would have to come to my mouth, look, I'm no expert on brain surgery. The first thing I'd do is start, I'd start with some internet searches and see what, the results would be. You shouldn't get your information from me on brain surgery.
So the next thing that I was going to say is the next question, besides, the one question, so you should be able to, qualify someone for whether or not they should be able to vote, is the first question that I thought was like, hey, do you know who the vice president is, right? Then the next one that came to my head was, you should be able to answer who your state representatives are. And then I thought, wait a minute, do I actually know the answer to that question? And I'm not sure that I do.
I could do it on a multiple
choice. Shaheen and Kelly Ayotte?
I think Shaheen might be a senator, but
Shaheen is U.S. Senator. Kelly Ayotte is a U.S. Senator. And
those are the two senators for. Oh, they're U.S.
They're U.S. senators
for New Hampshire.
For New
right?
Hampshire,
and we only have two because
right, but they're not your state representative.
Right.
Did I say? I meant to say.
You
senators.
said state representative,
right.
and then you named U.S. senators.
Yeah, I meant
so
senators.
you failed your own test.
I meant to say senators, because there's only two of those, and some states have a massive amount of representatives. So I just mean I meant senators. Yeah.
Right, but each person would only have one member of Congress as a member of the U.S. House.
They're local, they're local.
So like if you
I agree.
ask somebody in California, and
who's your local representative? Yeah,
right. Like if they named off, the guy from Sacramento and they live in San Diego. Well, sorry, you got it wrong.
Okay, Daryl, you would probably be. I don't even know if Mark would know this one. Maybe. Do you guys both know who the representative is for Keene?
The state rep or the congressional rep?
Let's say both.
US, are we talking about U.S. or state?
He wants both, and the answer is I could tell you all three of my state representatives. I could tell you my member of federal Congress.
Can you, Mark?
I don't remember what the rep is for.
I'm holding our own feet to the flame here.
Yeah,
essentially.
I don't think I can tell you what the rep is for the 2nd District of New Hampshire right now.
Annie Custer.
Custer, that's right. She was beaten by Bass. She beat Bass. So
they've flipped it back and forth a couple of times over the last several terms.
So is that our state rep or is that the
federal?
Federal, okay. So then what's the state rep?
There's 7 of them.
Well, for Keene, there's 2 that represent the entire city, and because of this weird multi-member district thing and flotoral districts, there's also 1 state rep for the ward that you live in. Okay. So your ward representative is different than mine.
Right.
You're in Ward 5, so you have Cynthia Chase.
Hold on, guys.
Who is the woman? Hold on, I'm going to tie this in. She's the woman that said that the Free State Project is the biggest threat to the state of New Hampshire.
Is in my ward.
And the Free State Project is why we're all in New Hampshire. We are part of the hopefully 20,000 people to sign a statement of intent saying that we will exert the fullest practical effort to create a society in which the maximum role of government is the protection of life, liberty, and property. You can get involved at freestateproject.org.
I think we have demonstrated, however, that even pretty involved people
are way more informed than the average person.
And the average, and we don't know who the reps are necessarily, in a given area. And I mean, that's something that maybe that would be the test. I don't know what the answer is, but it seems like to me, the citizenship test is a way for us to determine, for the United States government has determined whether or not somebody is qualified to vote who is born outside of the country. It seems to me that it's a poor system to say if you were born inside the country that you need no qualifications to vote if people who are born outside the country do need qualifications to vote. So that's my opinion. Obviously, there's a long history of poorly bigoted use of poll tests and that sort of thing.
Yeah, apparently I'm a bigot because I think that the qualification to vote should be you own land.
That's the old one. What about New York City? Nobody in New York City would be able to vote.
The people who own the properties in New York City would be able to vote.
They probably don't live there.
Oh, well.
They're probably from China.
Maybe true.
Lots of Chinese are buying property in order to invest.
Let them vote.
I don't know that
they
system
have an
works.
interest.
I don't know that system works anymore.
I think it does. They have an interest in what's going on. They should be the ones who are able to vote. They have an interest in making things work. They own the property here. Sure, let them vote. They have skin in the game.
Well, so do renters have skin in the game.
I don't agree.
Well, they're paying taxes of all different sorts. It's not just property taxes.
Not
anymore.
directly.
They're paying other taxes, income taxes,
fuel
Yeah, other
taxes,
taxes, sure.
sales tax.
The government levies all kinds of taxes on renters that,
But they aren't the ones that are making the decisions. And if, the property owners want to keep those renters around fueling their property ownership, then they're going to make the right decisions.
in theory,
If they don't, then they lose their money.
Some landlords aren't exactly, all peaches and cream to live with either.
And they'll lose out.
Well, they get the low value renters, I guess. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Attention business owners. Do you know the 3 most critical letters in business?
CEO?
These 3 little letters can make the difference between making a fortune and losing everything.
ROI?
The answer is INC, as in incorporation. Because if you're not incorporated and someone sues your business, you can lose it all. Your home, your car, even your life savings. That's why Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation guide to all business owners, so you can incorporate in just 10 minutes. Protect your home. Protect your car. Protect your life savings. Call 1-800-941-1029 for your free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. Get the 3 little letters that can mean the difference between making a fortune and losing everything. For your free guide, call 1-800-941-1029. That's 1-800-941-1029.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Silver has
Nathan, can you hear me now? Nathan, are you muted? Must have walked away. Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You can call in and talk about what is on your mind here on this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Daryl.
And Johnson.
855-450-FREE. I want to tell you about Liberty Health Share. It's a decision we've made at our house. A lot of people's hands have been forced with Obamacare to do something as far as healthcare goes. And, that we were one of those households. Liberty Health Share, what it is, it's a health sharing organization as opposed to an insurance company. And for us, it was about half the price of health insurance. Now, what they do, they don't provide less service or anything like that. They actually provide better service. It's just they cut out a lot of the overhead. You are teaming together with other people who share your values to help them pay their medical bills, and they help you if you need it too. So that's essentially how insurance works, right? Well, these health sharing organizations give you a lot more power in this area, and they're completely within the confines of Obamacare and all state laws. So check them out. It might be right for you and your family. LibertyHealthShare.org. It's LibertyHealthShare.org, and the number's 855-58-LIBERTY. 855-58-LIBERTY, LibertyHealthShare.org. And so far, we've been pretty happy with it. Let's go to Nathan calling in from Texas. Nathan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
All's well.
I do, just on the other point, I do like this combo a lot. It's, I think it's the best non-Ian combo that's on the show.
Isn't it the only non-Ian combo?
Well, yeah, it is that too, but it is also a very
the only current non-Ian combo. There have been non-Ian combos in the past.
There you go.
I like non-Ian combos too. I particularly like the pizzeria flavor. That's
a
good combo.
Combos.
Yes. And also the other thing is that if you want alternative search engines, there's also IX Quick, which is same people who do Start Page, but it doesn't use just Google.
Or DuckDuckGo. That's another one.
Yes.
It's another one.
They're not as good as Google, but if you need alternatives,
none of them are as good as Google.
Well, Start Page is for me the easiest one to remember. So.
And if you have Firefox, Mark, you can actually, at least on mine, when you type in something, and it'll automatically bring up a little selection, so you can just click on the Start Page icon.
Okay.
The nice thing about using actual Google is that those customized search results are customized based on your preferences, so you will like them better. Generally, that's why I like using actual Google.
I have three browsers open at any one time, so I can get different search results based on different criteria.
Yeah, that's good.
What's on your mind, Nathan?
So I came across an interesting story. I thought this might pique Daryl's interest since he's into law and law cases and that sort of thing. You've heard about the lifeboat scenario, correct? Where 2 or 3 people or something are in a lifeboat, and there's only so much food, and what do you do if you can't survive for so long, and this sort of thing. Well, apparently there was an actual court case in common law in the United States which addressed this, and this was called U.S. versus Holmes, 1842. Are you familiar with it, Daryl?
I cannot say that I am.
Okay, it was presided over by a Supreme Court justice at the time named Henry Baldwin, and the claim or the facts of the case were that a ship called the William Brown was carrying 80 passengers in the North Atlantic when it hit an iceberg, and there were only 2 lifeboats. The captain took the small one with some of the mates, and I think they tried to cram some people into the other one. And the problem was that the other one couldn't float with so many people on it. It was 22 feet long and had 40 people in it. I don't know if that's a lot. I'm not a boating guy.
That sounds like a lot of people on a 22-foot boat.
Right. Okay. And it was leaking, and they were bailing water. I guess that means removing water. And so one of the mates ordered some of the passengers to be thrown overboard.
Wow.
And eventually they were rescued by some kind of fishing boat from Canada or something. And when they got back to the mainland, the only person they could locate to put on trial was a man named Holmes, and he was ultimately sentenced. This was one of these big, I don't know if you call them celebrity trials or cause célèbres, kind of like the O.J. Simpson trial today.
Yeah, I imagine it's a pretty big deal if you're starting to order passengers to be thrown out of the lifeboats. You would think that the captain and the crew should go down with the ship if there's not enough room in the lifeboats.
Well, you would think. I don't know how that works. If that's like a law of the sea, or if the captain can get his own. Because there were 2 boats, and the captain took one with some of the crew, and there were just some first mates or whatever on the other one.
Yeah.
And this gentleman Holmes. Can you guess what his sentence was ultimately determined to be?
12 life sentences plus 3,300. Oh wait, no, that's another Holmes.
I don't know how the hell
this
we're gonna
guy
guess
Holmes. I have no clue.
Well, they reduced the charges to voluntary manslaughter and gave him 6 months and $20 fine. And then the president commuted his fine.
Okay.
Pretty minor as far as punishments go. What were the circumstances? Now, did Holmes was he one that ordered the passengers?
Well,
thrown out of the lifeboat?
that's what I couldn't tell from the article. He just happened to be the only one they could find to prosecute, I think is what happened. So, like the mate that was on the boat ordered the other mates to start throwing passengers overboard. So
I see. So he actually did kill some passengers.
That seems to be the fact of the case.
Yep.
So
well, it's difficult to get sentenced for voluntary manslaughter if you didn't kill some passengers, right?
Right. So, there you go. So if you're on a cruise ship in the United States and you're under United States legal jurisdiction, I guess that's something that can happen.
Yeah. What's the precedent from this? What was the result? I mean, you're not allowed to do that, apparently, because he was charged.
Well, he was charged, but, he wasn't charged very seriously, I guess. The only quote it has
if you get convicted of voluntary manslaughter right about now, things aren't going to be so good for you.
I would guess not. I wonder if it was can you be convicted of voluntary manslaughter in federal, or is that like a state thing? I wonder if there's
if it's maritime, it's going to be federal.
Yeah, good point. But yeah, the only quote here in the article that I'm reading is something about the judge saying that that the selection should be random because it's basically an appeal to God. So I don't know if that has any legal force.
Whoops. Shoot.
What? Why? You were like, get out of this boat.
It was random selection.
I had my finger on the trigger there, and I guess I just blew him away. Well, anyway, he was done. What are you going to do? Oops.
So, real quick, let's get back to the Google thing and explain how
this thing up, for God's sake.
Right, let's explain how the researcher came to the conclusion that Google, or in theory, any search engine, can sway election results. He says, in our basic experiment, participants were randomly assigned...
I'm sorry. Now I'm wondering, can Google decide who gets thrown off the boat?
You should Google that and tell us what it says. So they randomly assigned people to one of 3 groups in which search ranking either favored candidate A, candidate B, or neither. They were given brief descriptions of each candidate and then asked how they liked and trusted each candidate. And then they were given 15 minutes in which to conduct online research. And I will tell you what happens when we come back.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
That's the sound your brain makes when you realize you're buying something and forgot the coupon. Online or in a store, knowing that you're missing a deal is the worst. You need the app from Retail Me Not right now. Get thousands of coupons from 50,000 stores like Kohl's, Domino's, Best Buy, and more with crazy deals like 60% off, free shipping, and free gifts with purchase. You can get a text invite to download the Retail Me Not app 100% free right now for Apple or Android. Just text the code UPDATE to 42767. Then just show your phone at checkout to save. It literally couldn't be easier. It's 2015. Keep your coupons in your phone. Stop what you're doing and text UPDATE to 42767. Listeners will get a text with a link to download it 100% free. Never forget another coupon again. Text the code UPDATE to 42767 right now. That's UPDATE to 42767. Message and data rates may apply. For terms and privacy, visit retailmenot.com.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free tactical scarf for a limited time with any body armor package. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
Gold. It's like nothing else on Earth. From the Romans through the Renaissance, from the Industrial Age to the Space Age, gold has weathered the test of time. For 6,000 years, gold has remained the ultimate store of wealth. According to the World Gold Council and the U.S. Mint, demand is at an all-time high. The stage is being set for the reemergence of gold as the common-sense alternative to a fiat paper currency that gets weaker every day. Midas Resources is proud to offer the hard-hitting report that arms you with the truth you need to protect you and your family from the Fed's plans for your hard-earned money. Don't gamble with your future. Call Midas Resources today and ask for your free copy of As Good as Gold. Call 1-800-686-2237 for the report the Fed hopes you'll never see. As Good as Gold can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. If you have ever thought about owning gold, you must read this report. Call Midas today at 800-686-2237.
Just recently, we've witnessed some of the most catastrophic disasters in history. Be sure to prepare yourself with great-tasting, high-quality, GMO-free food that has a 25-year shelf life. Of course, we're talking about the foods from SurvivalFoodAlliance.com. And don't forget, the human body needs up to 3 quarts of water every day to remain healthy and hydrated. So check out our water bricks at SurvivalFoodAlliance.com. Go to SurvivalFoodAlliance.com or call 877-223-1776.
This is Free Talk Live. Call in toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Daryl.
And Johnson.
Bitcoinist.net is the ultimate resource for Bitcoin industry news, reviews, education, and the latest in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. They're a prime online destination for information about the Bitcoin and digital currency industry. Their website integrates a community forum, breaking Bitcoin and digital currency news. They also aim to cover fintech and blockchain tech as well. Bitcoinist has very sophisticated Bitcoin network statistics, a solid beginner, and they're great, by the way, to go check them out. I've had a chance to browse through, and it's always interesting, the statistics that they have. They've got a great beginner's guide, too. Bitcoinist.net. They aim to serve from the experts to the beginner. Bitcoinist.net. Daryl, wrap up this article about Google being able to control the world.
Right. So the experiment that was done by the person writing this article, they had 3 groups of people. They were randomly assigned search rankings that favored either candidate A, candidate B, or neither of the candidates. The participants were given a brief description of each candidate and then asked how much they liked and trusted each candidate and whom they would vote for. They were then allowed up to 15 minutes to conduct online research on the candidates using a Google-like search engine that was created by the researchers that they called Cadoodle. Each group had access to the same 30 search results, which were all from actual websites from previous elections. The only thing that differed between the three groups was the ordering of the results. People could click freely on any result or shift between any of the 5 different result pages, just like you can on Google. When our participants were done, we asked them those questions again, and voila! On all measures, opinions shifted in the direction of the candidate who was favored in the search result rankings. Trust, likability, and voting preference all shifted predictably.
This story is so bizarre to me because there's like no amount of shifting search results around that would make me change my mind about a particular candidate. Like, I know in this election...
But you're not an undecided voter.
Yeah, it's true.
This is one of the
They're talking about undecided voters that can be manipulated.
Right.
This is one of the difficulties of sort of the voting, the mathematics of voting. For every person who's thoroughly involved and has a preference and has good reasons why they would have that candidate, there's somebody out there that said, whose mom or brother or sister said, you really got to go vote. And they go and vote, and they don't know what the heck they're doing. They just vote for, some candidate. And
I've heard this guy's name before.
I've literally, I remember talking to a girl that said she was going to vote for George Bush because he's so handsome. Yeah. I mean, really, that was her reason. You can vote for whoever you want because they're handsome, but because they're handsome is a terrible reason to vote for them, right?
Right. And I would say that this also sort of shows...
Did you say anything to this girl?
I said that was a terrible reason to vote.
Okay, that's it. That's all you said.
She giggled.
Okay, she giggled. And then you were like, okay, that's fine.
But she was going to go vote anyway. What else am I supposed to do at that point?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if... my response probably would have been like, ha ha, you're a terrible person.
Why? I mean, they tell everybody that everybody's got to vote.
Because you're deciding what happens with other people's lives. You're directing men with guns to do horrible things to people. And if you participate in that without knowing what you're doing... You're a terrible person.
Well, people do that all the time.
And there are a lot of terrible people out there responsible for the mess that we're in.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the definition of voting is that you're going to pick politician X to enact violence upon the people you dislike and try to get the policies through that you do like. I think that there's a pretty good argument out there from the non-voters that voting for a politician might be something that because you can never tell what a person's going to do, might be immoral. Certainly they can't make an argument that voting in sort of referendum type elections is immoral. I have yet to hear somebody make that argument. But
I've actually heard people make that argument.
I've heard them try.
It's not a very good argument, and it's not very well thought out.
The only thing I've heard...
claim is that if you vote, even if the two choices are raise taxes, lower taxes, if you vote to lower taxes, but raise taxes wins, because you cast a ballot in the election, you somehow are culpable for the decision that was made by people other than yourself.
I don't see how they can possibly make that argument.
I've heard there have actually been people tell me that it is my fault. I am the sole person responsible for Barack Obama dropping drone bombs on people in the Middle East because I voted for none of the above.
Yeah. It's like, that's like saying like, oh, a group of 12 people or whatever get around and they are all saying, we're going to vote now on whether or not we should kill you. And you say, don't kill me. Somehow you participated in your murder.
I've heard people make that claim.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous claim, and if you've got it, if you believe that you can make that better than Daryl did just now, you can call us at 855-450-3733 or LRN.FM on Skype. What I've noticed is the principled non-voter stance. They tend not to listen to Free Talk Live too long because we're just not radical enough for them. By the way, the show that gets kicked off of radio stations for being too radical is not radical enough for somebody who cannot articulate why one should not be able to vote in an election.
And I've heard people make the claim of, well, if nobody shows up, then nobody gets elected, and therefore government disappears, which is absolutely not true.
Nope.
There have been elections where nobody showed up. The government did not go away because there are procedures in place for tie votes. 0-0 is a tie vote. They either cast straws, they draw numbers out of a hat, or in the case of some school district just outside of Roswell, New Mexico last year, because only a third of the seats were up, the remaining 2/3 of the school board appointed the 3 candidates to the school board.
I would like to see this in action. I would like to see D's Nuts win. And
D's Nuts was 15.
He's
so
15.
And that's why I would like to see D's Nuts win, because D's Nuts is 15.
And can't take the
thing. So if D's Nuts wins, you'll see exactly what happens when the vote is mostly tossed out.
You will see the U.S. House of Representatives deciding who is the president.
Yeah, it's
because that's the procedure set up if nobody gets an electoral majority.
Don't worry, the politicians have very good systems for making sure the state continues on, even if people choose not to vote. But if suggesting that good people not vote is like suggesting that because it perpetuates violence or whatever, it's like suggesting that good people not carry guns. It only leaves the guns in the hands of the criminals.
Yes.
If you suggest that your friends and neighbors not vote because voting somehow perpetuates the system, you leave the system in the hands of criminals. Further,
Which is why I suggest that everyone should stop voting. And that way, if you listen to that advice, you're an idiot and you probably shouldn't have voted, because if you listen to celebrities telling you what to do in regards to voting,
you get what you result that you expect. I would like to make a further ludicrous analogy. Many people will say that what kind of government we'll get from voting because this is the kind of government we have. But more people have not voted in elections. In pretty much every election. There's very few elections where a majority of people in a given geographic area, a majority of even voters will vote. But there have been a few, certainly Barack Obama's 2008 election, and I think 2012 also, a majority of Americans voted. But that's
a majority of eligible voters.
Eligible voters voted. But that's I guess you should take the population, because some people may choose not to be registered for a principled stance. So at that point, none of the elections that I know of have that a majority of people have voted in. So therefore, we can blame the results that we have today on people who have chosen not to vote, because the vast majority of people have not voted at this point. If you have that ludicrous analogy, then that's the logical conclusion to it, is not voting gives us what we have. 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE, Free Talk Live. Only people that agree with me should be able to vote. That's what I think.
Honestly, we canceled an appointment to have Jake euthanized to give Dynavite a chance to save this dog's life. Jake is an 8-year-old male Akita. His entire stomach and groin area, his face, his elbows, his ears, every orifice was just riddled with yeast and sores. We had a vet treat him, and Jake didn't respond at all. My son heard the commercial for Dynavite, DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Within 4 days, Jake started to heal. It was the most amazing thing I have ever seen. The yeast is receding, and now his belly is completely cleared up. It chokes me up. It brings tears to my eyes. Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Okay, open your mouth and say ah. Ah.
When your child has a sore throat, you need to know when to get help. The doctor recommended Say Ah Sore Throat Exam is your solution. The scientifically designed oral retractor offers a clear view of the throat, relaxing the tongue and minimizing gag reflex. Compare with the medical grade chart, website, and app. Then you'll know just what to tell your doctor. A wellness plan in your hands in minutes. Go to SAYAHHnow.com. SayAhNow.com, the new mainstay for every family's first aid kit.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
We are a survival company. We manufacture our own line of Level 3 and Level 3A body armor. We proudly make our armor 100% in America. We have the best prices in the nation, about $125 cheaper than our nearest competitor. All lab certified, for thou art my rock and my fortress, Psalm 31:3. We are Fortress Survival LLC.com.
You pick up the receiver. With your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead, you finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the hosts you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
You are an individual with your own thoughts, decisions, and actions. So why should you be penalized for not enrolling in the subpar health insurance mandated by the government? Be truly independent. Visit libertyoncall.org. LibertyOnCall.org is a bold, innovative alternative allowing you to take back control and make your own decisions about your health care. Mention this ad when you call to learn more. 800-714-6993. That's 800-714-6993. LibertyOnCall.org. Call today.
You're listening to Free Talk Live. Call in toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. Just got finished with a story about how Google manipulates their search results and could, without their knowledge, or with their knowledge, just change the results of elections worldwide, potentially. And it's pretty scary to consider that the one organization has that kind of power. It's Mark with you.
Daryl.
And Johnson.
You can get archives of Free Talk Live going back for like a decade at archives.freetalklive.com. We make them available to you for free. So if you want to listen to old shows, maybe you do a lot of gardening. Maybe you have a job where you can listen to something all day long and you want some content. Free Talk Live provides it to you at archives.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Dick calling in from Wasilla, Alaska. Dick, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing? I was actually calling because I'm a little disappointed in you guys. Well, I guess, two of you weren't there last night.
You listen long enough, you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I know. I'm not that disappointed, don't worry. But I'm really in the media. It doesn't surprise me, but it shocked me, the coverage of this shooting in Roanoke, or just south of Roanoke, because, it reminds me of that song Dirty Laundry, where everyone just is so soon to get on it. And, I noticed it was funny. I called you 2 days ago, and you didn't have any callers, and I called you last night, and you had plenty of callers. And obviously, the shooting gets the ratings and whatnot, and that's what people want to talk about. And I just think it's kind of sick. I mean, why even talk about that?
Well, because it's relevant to people in their lives. It's Free Talk Live. I mean, they're experiencing it right now.
Well, I understand, and they see it, and they want, your perspective is more valid, I would say, than, any of the other talking heads talking about it, just going over it again. And I, did appreciate listening to it. So there is that aspect of it. But I couldn't believe the whole, every time I turned on the news and everything I had on the radio yesterday was just about that shooting, and it's even bled over into today.
Yep.
I really haven't looked at much of the news, but it's like every time one of these shootings happens, we take one of these shooters and put them on a pedestal, and I just don't think it's a good thing.
Wait, who's putting the shooter on a pedestal? By covering it and saying, this person's terrible? That's putting them on a pedestal?
Well, they get to talk about their lives, and, they're more famous than any of us. More people.
What's his name?
Bryce Williams. His real name, I don't know his real name, but it's
right.
Vester or something like that.
Right.
But I couldn't name any of the people that were shot, so I'd say that there's a valid critique here coming from Dick that they get put up on a pedestal. Let's talk about this. So I have a position here. We have Free Talk Live. Our audience is not only 250,000 people who listen to the show on a weekly basis, and certainly more than that listen on inside of a month or something like that. But we also have program directors at radio stations. Program directors have an expectation that a radio show is going to do something timely and relevant. And Free Talk Live does probably more stories and more issues that are sort of issues as opposed to current news than most shows do. But we also have to kind of fit in, we have to make ourselves fit that round hole that is talk radio by talking about some things that are relevant. So we try to talk about them from a freedom standpoint as best we can. But I guess my question to you would be, Dick, do we tell the consultants that tell us what the program directors want to hear, and these are former program directors all themselves, or current program directors in some cases, do we tell them to take a long walk off a short pier and just do the show that we want to do? Or do we listen to input from professionals and mold the show to fit what the expectation is that we would be?
Well, I would say that you do have to do what you have to do. If you didn't have a show, what would the point be? And
right.
I guess my point would, I understand that you guys are going to have to cover certain things, and there's the expectation to do that. And I prefer the shows that go delve deeper into politics. I listen to the podcast, so I hear you guys are talking about voting just earlier, but I don't really know what you're talking about. But it sounds more, and I prefer the more delve deep into the philosophy of libertarianism and really learning the core of that. But this whole talking about this reminds me of the story of Kurt Vonnegut. He's an author. Before he really got famous with many of his books, he had a job working for some sports magazine, and his first gig was to write about a horse that in a horse race jumped over the fence, and he sat there for hours and he couldn't figure out what to write, and he finally wrote on the typewriter, the horse jumped over the effing fence, and he left the place. So,
and so it goes.
To me it's kind, and so it goes. So to me it busy. But we got to me that's what this story in Roanoke is. It's sad, it's tragic, but 2 people got shot, and what other details do we really need? There's plenty of people who got shot yesterday, and plenty of them our names don't know. Just because we have a video of this, we got to watch it. What's the point of watching the video? And
I've not seen it.
This happens. Yeah, I can't bring myself to watch stuff like that. To me, it's just too heavy for me.
I'm not going to do it.
Hearing it on the radio, the audio on the radio was hard. I want to go out of my way to listen to it.
I'm a terrible person. I watch it from multiple angles. I watch all the shooting videos because it's interesting to me.
I think it affects people differently. I was playing one of the Call of Duty games, and some people love those games, but I'm having to tap A as fast as I can to choke somebody, and I'm like, what is the point of this? How is this fun? And to me, it's just scary. And I know there's nothing we can really do, and I don't want the government to stop anything. But
I agree with you that it's scary. This stuff is scary, especially not necessarily video games. I don't agree with that, but I can see how someone can internalize that. But with these real shooting videos, and real stories of real violence, and ISIS beheading people, and with just all these things that are now available via the internet. I guess the reason why I find it interesting to sort of watch it is one. Well, not one, because not in any particular order here, but preparation. If I were ever have to be involved in a situation like this, which I feel like I've come close since Keen, and being an activist, because there are people that don't like activists, but also because this is someone who had conviction behind, like, why, like you say that people have been putting this shooter up on a pedestal, and because they're talking about the story. And generally, I find that they're just calling this guy a horrible person. They don't talk about the reasoning why this person did this. And in most of the cases, in most of these shooters, they don't really generally like get behind. I mean, there's, supposedly these people have manifestos and they let it out there, but the news doesn't really cover it. It's up to the individual to go and read this and find this out. And so far all I've heard, and I haven't really investigated into the story as much as I would like to have to feel informed, but I heard that this guy was possibly reacting to some serious mistreatment by these other newscasters, that he worked with them at the station, and that there was a lot of like racist comments, and then he was fired after like in retaliation to his saying, hey, there's some racist activity going on here, and instead of them taking action, they fired him. So I don't think it justifies his actions in any way.
I don't think that actually explains the actions, because he was fired 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it wasn't he got fired and then the next day went and shot the reporter and cameraman.
Right.
It was 2 years later
that
he wound up.
Maybe some mental illness on top of,
It seems like mental illness.
We
Dick?
can accept the fact that this person's reasoning is a little bit different than ours. So the fact that 2 years, I mean,
yeah.
I'm not a revenge person, but revenge is a dish best served cold. So if it's something that's been stewing in them for 2 years, that doesn't make it any different, I don't think.
I agree with you on that. That's probably a very valid point.
I mean, they had to take the time to write 23 pages. But I do agree with you where, I mean, that's something that the media doesn't cover, and I kind of did. At first I was worried that you guys were just going to talk about this guy for the whole podcast today. But you did get into the manifesto and kind of understanding why. I don't think we'll ever understand why, but to at least get a glimpse as best we can is better than, arguing about what the gun store did when they, I don't know what they're talking about, because I don't watch the news.
Yeah, no, we didn't talk about it at all. We didn't talk about it at all until you called in and brought it up.
Thanks, Dick.
Free
Appreciate
Talk
it.
Live.
855-450-3733. The reason I wanted to talk about it is that people always want to ban guns, but how do you keep crazy people from getting guns?
Right.
Tell me, how do you keep crazy people from getting guns? I don't think you can. Not if you're going to maintain the Second Amendment. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450.
At that range, you could have used a bow and arrow.
Hold on. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
When the leading antihistamine and Nasacort go nose to nose, Nasacort wins, stopping more of the chemical responses that can cause your nasal allergy symptoms. And when you stop more causes, you get 24-hour relief from sneezing, an itchy runny nose, even congestion. It's prescription strength medicine available over the counter. Nasacort Allergy 24-hour. Stops more of what makes you miserable. Use as directed.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
It's time to build your own emergency food stockpile with the industry leader, My Patriot Supply. Once you try them, you'll know why so many Americans like you have made them part of their emergency preparedness plan. Experience the My Patriot Supply difference today with this unbelievable offer. Right now, a 4-week food supply is only $99, and that includes free shipping. That's 50% off the online price. Call 800-274-3070 to claim yours. Limit 2 per caller while supplies last. This offer isn't available online, so you want to make sure and grab this opportunity to get prepared today. 800-274-3070 to get your 4-week food supply for the incredible price of only $99, and it'll be shipped to you completely free. Call 800-274-3070 right now. That's 800-274-3070 to claim yours while supplies last. Don't wait. Call today.
The Costa Report on the Future of Talk Radio, GCN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Forensic psychiatrist Dr. Michael Werner says the horrific on-air shootings in Virginia yesterday represent a uniquely American phenomenon known as murder for spectacle's sake.
The perpetrator specifically sought to create spectacle, and it's a reflection of a culture in which if you do something that's outrageous enough, then everybody is going to find you relevant.
Werner tells the Salem Radio Network he believes the murders were not triggered by the church shootings in Charleston. Werner says the shooter was already homicidal and used the Charleston murders to gain public support for his actions. Meanwhile, colleagues of murder victims Allison Parker and Adam Ward remembered the two today at a news conference in Roanoke. Also at SRNnews.com, a new poll finds Donald Trump is widening his lead over the GOP's 2016 presidential field despite concerns over his electability. Correspondent Linda Kenyon reports.
The latest Quinnipiac survey shows Donald Trump with 28% support among Republican and Republican-leaning respondents. Dr. Ben Carson is the only other GOP candidate earning double-digit support, although he still trails Trump with just 12% of voter support. The poll also found former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, Senator Ted Cruz, and Senator Marco Rubio all tied at 7%. No other GOP candidate surpassed 6%. Linda Kenyon reporting.
As Tropical Storm Erica continues to churn, National Hurricane Center Chief Forecaster James Franklin says Floridians need to watch Erica's progress.
We have the chance of tropical storm conditions in Florida in another 4 days or so. Check your supplies. Know if you are in a evacuation zone, a flood zone.
The storm is already responsible for at least 4 deaths on the island of Dominica. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 369 points, the Nasdaq rose 115. This is SRN News.
The 2015 Coupera features plush leather seating that will feel to your hemorrhoids like sitting on lava-hot knitting needles.
Not if you step up to relief with the power of 2 from Preparation H. First, use Preparation H medicated wipes to soothe as they clean. Then Preparation H Maximum Strength Cream to relieve pain and burning.
Now sink into that rich upholstery. Luxurious.
Preparation H. Don't stand for hemorrhoids. Use as directed.
And try specially formulated medicated wipes for women.
We gave Tom 12 seconds to give 6 reasons why he opened a Mathnasium Learning Center franchise.
Okay. Great income potential. Doing good for kids. Doing what I love. Making math make sense to kids. 500 centers open already. 1 every 3 days. Mathnasium taught me the business. Helps me. Supports me.
Time's up. Pretty good. For franchise information, visit mathnasium.com or take the first step right now. Call 855-361-MATH. That's 855-361-6284.
Fewer people sought U.S. unemployment benefits last week.
The Labor Department says weekly applications for unemployment aid declined by 6,000 to a seasonally adjusted 271,000. The less volatile 4-week average ticked up 1,000 to 272,500. The applications data will likely be closely monitored in the coming weeks for any sign that companies are cutting jobs in the wake of the past week's stock market volatility and global economic turmoil.
That's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. Austrian police on Thursday discovered the decomposing bodies of at least 20 and possibly up to 50 migrants stacked in a truck parked on the shoulder of the main highway from Budapest to Vienna. The shocking find came as Austria hosted a summit in Vienna on Europe's refugee crisis for Western Balkan nations, which have been overwhelmed this year by the tens of thousands of migrants trying to get into Europe via their territory. This is SRN News. Another Democrat has come out against the Iran deal.
Carolyn Maloney expressed concern the deal will do little to stem Iran's pursuit of nuclear weapons once the agreement ends. She also says that freeing up $100 billion in assets will make the Middle East a more dangerous place by giving Iran access to financial resources. Maloney becomes the sixth New York Democrat to announce her opposition.
Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines reporting. Meanwhile, presidential candidates Donald Trump and Ted Cruz are planning to appear together at an upcoming Capitol Hill rally against the proposed nuclear deal with Iran. Congress is expected to start debate on the accord when lawmakers return from recess on September 8th. Trump says the rally will take place in the next few weeks. Cruz has declined to criticize the Republican frontrunner for his controversial comments on illegal immigration or any other topic. More details at srnnews.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at patriotnecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
Patriotnecklace.com?
Patriotnecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from patriotnecklace.com.
You're old enough to tell that something is definitely wrong. You've been paying attention for years and you're ready. You're probably frustrated because your children don't listen to your words of warning. What will you do when your grandkids show up hungry at your door? Get more food storage from Ready Supply Foods. We sell 50% more food for your dollar and we can prove it. See the comparisons for yourself at ReadySupplyFoods.com. We're the new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free here on this live edition of Free Talk Live with Mark,
Daryl,
and King Johnson. I've usurped his title.
You can be a king too, Johnson. It's fine. It's just I'm intergalactic king of everything.
Hold on. What is your full royal title?
King of the universe.
There you go. So 855-450 free. Johnson, apparently there's a gal who's selling her degree on eBay.
There is, in fact, a gal who is selling her degree on eBay. An authentic Florida State University degree. And
well, you didn't tell me it was garbage degree.
And her experience.
Daryl, I see the confused look on your face. Those of us who identify with the University of Florida.
Okay. It figures you're a Gators fan.
I'm not a Gators fan.
And that you don't like Free Shoes University.
I'm not a Gators fan, and that I would watch football. I don't spend any time watching their football team or anything like that. I took some online courses that came through the and the professors were at University of Florida. So for whatever reason, I sort of imprinted on that one as opposed to Florida State. Plus, Florida used to be the state's men's college, and Florida State used to be the state's women's college.
Yes.
But let's be fair, it is a garbage degree. I'll get into it, though. So her name is Stephanie Ritter, and she is a 2011 Florida State University grad who is currently working as an assistant, according to BuzzFeed News.
Assistant what?
An assistant. Probably like an executive assistant or like an administrative assistant, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Secretary. She's also currently selling her FSU theater degree on eBay because theater, and she's selling it on eBay because it never helped her get a job anyway.
Well, theater. I wonder how many people.
Theater.
You have to say theater.
People with degrees in theater pronounce it theater.
I'll take your word for it. I wonder how many people who are, successful in theater are from the University of Florida. I don't know the University of Florida State University. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm just wondering.
How many people that are successful in theater have a degree in theater?
I know some people who are going to school for theater at some university in St. Pete. I can't remember the name of it.
I just wonder. I wonder whether you need a degree in this. Again, I'm of the opinion that degrees should be reserved for very few vocations. Lawyer comes to mind, engineer, doctor, college professor. I'm about out of people that I need a list for, right? That you could probably do as well by taking night classes while in New York when you got some off-Broadway gigs and just did this stuff as opposed to trying to learn it. I'm sure you can get some internships. There's a professional theater company here in New Hampshire that has summer internships for people that, they put together the sets for the paid performances and then they get to perform to some extent too.
Right. So I tend to agree with you. And I think you're sort of dismissing, or at least what I'm hearing when you say, degrees are worthless except for, like doctors and lawyers.
And business executives.
What most people are hearing is that my plumber should not have to know how to be a plumber. And I don't think that's what you're saying. So there's like trade certification that I think you would agree is a good thing.
So you think there should be a trade certification in theater?
People don't go to college for plumbing.
Some people do,
absolutely,
because people waste money because they were told you have to go to college.
It's called a trade school.
It's a trade school. That's not college, and you probably do need to go to some level of trade school in order to be a plumber. But I don't know what the specifics are. I wouldn't give people advice in that arena. However, I would say that there's I've met a lot of people doing a lot of jobs. There are a lot of bartenders out there with degrees and things that it just didn't make much sense. I've got a good friend who's had a fine life who has a degree in, wait for it, the French horn, right? She's never used the darn degree, and a minor in choral, right?
Hold on, choral as in the stuff that grows in the ocean?
I think you know what her minor is in.
Or like people singing. Because some people get weird degrees in stuff. I've got an aunt that has a degree in piano theory. I don't know what that is, but she's a college professor and teaches people how to play musical instruments.
That's awesome. She's managed to get a job using her degree, and that's great. But there's lots of... I have a good friend who's a publisher of a magazine who has a filmmaking degree. They go to school for a variety of things, and it's just not that particularly valuable.
I saw a statistic not too long ago that 85% of people with advanced degrees, that being something above a bachelor's, are not working in the field in which they graduated in.
Really? 85% that have a master's and above are not working in the field that they have a master's in.
That is according to a statistic that I saw not too long ago.
Interesting.
So anyway, continuing here. Sorry, I'm racking my brain here. I'm trying to say, like, if somebody goes to, if they're going to go to a trade school, I wonder how many people, like, stay locally to go, like, if you're going to be a plumber and you're going to go to a trade school, I wonder how many people, like, set up and they go in the towns that they're living in, or how many go off to school. Like, a lot of people go to college, they travel the country, they kind of go to a far off place and set themselves up, before they go to school as a temporary resident, and, then attend the school and they become whatever profession that they're going to be. And, maybe they become a plumber or
I think most people just kind of fall into their profession, and those people probably don't need degrees. Now, if many times big corporations and the government will require you to have a degree to get some particular, thing, teachers, for instance, and these folks. But I don't, whatever. I don't know that those people necessarily need to have that degree to do those jobs. But I think the real problem here is that people are pushed on into college, and they kind of come up with, I think I could major in this because it might be nice to do this or that. If you're going, I'm not sure what I want to do, but I think I kind of, then you shouldn't be going to college. You should be like, this is what I want to do, and this is the path to get there.
Well, I think she knew what she wanted to do, but now
the road to theater is littered with the bodies of people foolish enough to believe they could make it.
But here's the thing: I want to talk a little bit more about the eBay auction here, real quick, because I think it's important to get at these details.
Okay.
Mark, Daryl, for $50,000.
Oh, that's funny.
You're not only buying Ritter's actual physical diploma, you're also buying her experience.
What?
Included in the sell is a tour of FSU campus, access to Ritter's college memories and Facebook albums for 6 months, and a tour of all my favorite Publixes, including sweet tea at each location.
Hey, Publix.
Which, that's probably the best part of the
There are some experiences that I'm wondering if are included in this $50,000.
Because you're a pervert. That's why.
By the way, Ritter is currently $40,000 deep in student loans, so that $50,000 would probably help her out a little bit there.
Yeah. Well, it should only be the amount that she's deep in the loans. You probably negotiate with her, actually.
Maybe, yeah. So she's
the extra $10,000 is for the experiences.
Yeah.
Experiences.
Yeah.
She's quoted. She says, "I thought this piece of paper has so much worth to so many people, but for a theater major, it couldn't mean less." Ritter told BuzzFeed, "I'm doing the exact same things and probably getting paid the exact same amount as people that dropped out halfway through freshman year, except I'm still $40,000 in debt, and they're, well, not."
That's what I did. I dropped out halfway through freshman year. I went to, I took some correspondence courses, and then I decided you got to go to college because that's what you got to do. I took a couple of courses during the summer, and I'm like, once I took that business course, and I knew that I calculated my grade, and I got a C+, and she gave me an A. Once that was the case, I'm like, this thing's worthless.
Yeah.
Once I realized, that's it. So
I would say that unless you're on a scholarship, you should not go to college.
Yeah, you should go to college if somebody else pays for it. The problem is that doesn't work for everybody, because if we applied that universally, then obviously colleges wouldn't pay for the people that have the scholarships currently, because those scholarships are financed by people who don't need their degrees. 855-450-3733.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to purse.freetalklive.com and open an account. Do this right now, don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to purse.freetalklive.com right now and get signed up and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 25% off of everything on Amazon through purse.freetalklive.com. It's purse.freetalklive.com.
That's disgusting. What's that smell? Roll down your window before I pass out.
It's those nasty fish oil pills I've been taking.
Why won't you just switch to Nutrigold fish oil like I did?
It's fish oil. What's the difference?
Well, my Nutrigold fish oil is sourced and manufactured right here in the USA.
What's so special about that? Aren't they all?
Are you kidding? Of course not. Only Nutrigold fish oil is 100% USA made, which is why it's so fresh.
100% product of USA and fresh? I like the sound of that. So no more fish burps?
No more fish burps. And that's not all. If you go to www.fishoil.best and enter my fish oil, you can save $5 like I did.
That won't be necessary. We can just share your bottle.
Nice try. Get your own at www.fishoil.best.
Sorry.
Get rid of those fish burps for good. Go to Nutrigold's U.S.-made fish oil products by going to www.fishoil.best and get $5 off by entering My Fish Oil at checkout.
We are a survival company. We manufacture our own line of Level 3 and Level 3A body armor. We proudly make our armor 100% in America. We have the best prices in the nation, about $125 cheaper than our nearest competitor. All lab certified, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Psalm 31:3. We are Fortress Survival LLC.com.
Quantitative easing, unemployment at depression levels, Europe financial system falling apart, China getting out of U.S. treasuries. At the end of 2008, the time of TARP, the national debt was at $11 trillion, gold trading around $850 per ounce. Close to 2012, the national debt exceeded $16.4 trillion, gold doubled to $1,600 per ounce. The $20 trillion threshold for the national debt is inevitable. Politicians in Washington have a ferocious appetite for spending and stimulus. What's worse, a printing press to finance. 100 years ago, we had a gold standard to limit this madness, but now you have to adopt your own gold standard. Don't be fooled with paper promises. Get Midas Resources 10 Reasons to Buy Gold free by calling 800-686-2237. Understanding the gold and silver market may be the only insurance you could have to avoiding the next economic crisis. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order your free copy. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
You are an individual with your own thoughts, decisions, and actions. So why should you be penalized for not enrolling in the subpar health insurance mandated by the government? Be truly independent. Visit libertyoncall.org. Libertyoncall.org is a bold, innovative alternative allowing you to take back control and make your own decisions about your health care. Mention this ad when you call to learn more. 800-714-6993. That's 800-714-6993. libertyoncall.org. Call today.
Now, more Free Talk Live. Call in toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. It's Mark with you.
Daryl.
And Johnson.
We're talking about this this graduate of Florida State University's theater program.
Yes, huh?
Who apparently is now selling her degree online for potentially, I mean, to say that she's selling the degree, she's put up for sale the degree for $50,000 on eBay.
Yes. And to recap, she said, I'm doing the exact same things and probably getting paid the exact same amount as people that dropped out halfway through their freshman year, except I'm still $40,000 in debt, and they're, well, not.
Yeah, I imagine that stings quite a bit. I can't say that I'm smarter than her. I just, if I realized that paying people to tell me what to do wasn't for me, so college wasn't for me. You can pay me and tell me what to do, or I can pay you and tell you what to do, but me paying you to tell me what to do, I'm not into that.
I feel a certain kinship with her since I went to school for a photography degree.
You are one heck of a photographer, though.
I guess. I hate it, though. That's the problem, is I went to school for something. Well, actually, I didn't originally go to school for photography. I went to school for computer animation and applied slightly too late to a very competitive school for that program. And they said, well, we love your portfolio. You can have your choice of any other major. This one's full. And so I first went into graphic design, then I went into photography, and
did they pay you to go to school?
No, I did not have a full ride, if that's a sort of scholarship.
Did you have a partial ride?
I had a ride from my family. Is what I had a ride from. So, and I
we sure think you're awesome.
You guys are gonna laugh. You guys are gonna laugh at this.
I'm already laughing.
I have. Well, no, you're gonna really laugh at this. I had a lot of money saved up because I worked as a child. As a model.
No, that's right. That's right. You were a child model.
I was a child model, and so I saved up money, and that money accrued a lot of interest over the years.
You weren't tubby then.
I was not tubby then. No.
So what I think is amusing is that they say, hey, you can come into one of our degree fields that we don't have, that we have space in. You're so good that we'll let you pay to be in one of the areas that we have some room.
Well, it was
they
wanted
your money.
No, it's an extremely competitive school. They turn a lot of people away.
They certainly do. I want to tell you about ProXPN. You need privacy online, and that means you need ProXPN. It's a virtual private network that encrypts all of your online data before it gets to your internet service provider. ProXPN does all of it right, offering OpenVPN, the gold standard of network encryption. They have apps for Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, even Linux. Plus, unlike those other guys, ProXPN keeps no logs of your activities whatsoever. Now, ProXPN has even more servers than ever before, giving you greater speed and security. They accept credit card and even Bitcoin. You can get 50% off the regular monthly price for the lifetime of the account when you buy an annual account with our code, FTL50. And it can end up being cheaper per month than a good cup of coffee. You keep hearing about our online privacy getting infringed? Well, go to proxpn.com right now, use coupon code FTL50, and take back the privacy that is your right.
You can torrent your favorite TV shows, watch blocked banned content from other countries, buy Bitcoin if you live in New York, that kind of thing.
Apparently you've done all this. There you
I
go.
like to experiment.
proxpn.com's FTL50 is the coupon code.
So at the moment, on this eBay auction, there are 91 people, and this is probably out-of-date information at this point, but there are 91 people watching Ritter's eBay auction and close to 200 people viewing it per hour. Now, the article author says, I'm no eBay connoisseur, but if you were planning on making a reasonable $35,000 to $40,000 bid, now's your chance. Despite all this, Ritter told BuzzFeed that she absolutely would go back to college again. She just wanted to warn those entering in the fall to beware of student loans. On that note, happy syllabus week, everybody. Hope you're way pumped for the best, most expensive year of your lives.
All right, so this woman knew that she was getting student loans when she went to school. Like, this was not some sort of surprise. Like, she thought she was getting a scholarship and she graduated and they said, here's your degree. And by the way, joke's on you. You were here on student loans this entire time?
No, she bought the line that colleges tell kids everywhere, which is that you need a college degree to get a better job.
She's still buying the line, though. She said that she would go back to college.
No, she's saying she would go back to college. She didn't give her reasons. Maybe she valued the education that she got there. I mean, I kind of find that laughable based on my own personal experience. But
and you went to a college that is premier in the world for art and that sort of thing.
But it was also the first 4 years of the department that I got my degree in. So the photography department at the school was completely brand new.
Okay.
And I got to say that the faculty there, at least in my particular field, which was I really was interested in, now the major has even changed names. It used to be photography. Now it's photography and digital imaging. And when I started, I was most interested in digital imaging, but I was extremely ahead of the curve.
I see.
So I actually had the head of the photography department pull me aside and tell me, you need to stop helping other students with their digital imaging questions and questions about Photoshop because you're embarrassing the professors. I was livid. Livid. I mean, if you're paying that kind of money to go to school, or if your family's paying that kind of money, I'm sorry. The students should get the best possible education as possible. If that means that other students are helping each other out to learn the material that your faculty is supposed to be teaching, well, then I don't give a damn about your teachers being embarrassed. Okay, fine. Fire them. Get some new faculty, is what I should have said.
Well, this is basically what it comes down to, is you probably could have found out as much as you wanted to know about. I mean, this was 4 years. You probably could have learned everything you needed to learn about taking pictures and, airbrushing things online.
It was also 4 years that were extremely personally damaging to me because I went to school from 1997 to 2001. And during that time period, what I should have been in and what I should have been doing, because I made a personal decision. I'm like, do I want to go to school for computer science or do I want to go to school for art? Because I was very interested in both. And I thought to myself at the time, I'm like, well, I've learned how to build computers and I've learned how to do some software stuff and I taught myself web design. I'm like, I can continue to teach myself computers. I've been picking that up at a pretty good pace on my own. Well, little did I know that during that particular time period, right, almost everything was going to change every year during that time period. Like exponentially, the changes going on during that particular time period. And then things would get more difficult, obviously, much harder to teach oneself on, and that the art stuff is not that hard to learn, and I didn't really know that I'm not even going to really be using it all that much. I mean, I do use a lot of the art skills a lot, but nothing I feel like I really picked up at school. I picked it up all on my own through extensive amounts of practice.
And with the way that one can learn online now, like for instance, if I were to go to school for something, I'd go for a history degree because that's what interests me. But I can learn everything I want to learn about history online.
Yes.
And all I'm going to do is get some kind of college professor giving me some kind of opinion on what occurred or whatever.
Right.
It's of no value. What's a history degree good for? Getting a history master's and a history PhD so that you can teach history. That's about it. 855-450-3733. Tell me why people need degrees these days. 855-450 free. Free Talk Live.
Are you excited about the World Wide Web? Do you want a place where you can share your ideas and express yourself? Well, dial up your modems and stream on down to the GCN Live Community Forum. Lots of radical features await you there.
Wow, Internet guy, I am so glad I went to the GCN Live Community Forum.
You too can discover why the World Wide Web is awesome. Just go to gcnlive.com/forum. That's gcnlive.com/forum. I'll see you in cyberspace. Friend GCN Live on Diaspora and Cross.tv.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
That's the sound your brain makes when you realize you're buying something and forgot the coupon. Online or in a store, knowing that you're missing a deal is the worst. You need the app from Retail Me Not right now. Get thousands of coupons from 50,000 stores like Kohl's, Domino's, Best Buy, and more with crazy deals like 60% off, free shipping, and free gifts with purchase. You can get a text invite to download the Retail Me Not app 100% free right now for Apple or Android. Just text the code UPDATE to 42767. Then just show your phone at checkout to save. It literally couldn't be easier. It's 2015. Keep your coupons in your phone. Stop what you're doing and text UPDATE to 42767. Listeners will get a text with a link to download it 100% free. Never forget another coupon again. Text the code UPDATE to 42767 right now. That's UPDATE to 42767. Message and data rates may apply. For terms and privacy, visit retailmenot.com.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
This is Free Talk Live. Call in toll free. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE or LRN.FM on Skype. You just send us a user request. That's our username, LRN.FM. And, we'll click on it and you can call. And we had 4 calls earlier on Skype and they all sounded great. That's the wonderful thing about Skype is it just sounds better than the phone. So it's username LRN.FM and it's 855-450-FREE on Skype.
Oh, it's just dawning on me, and I know this is probably breaking a fourth wall or something like that, but you guys had that Skype night, and I never really heard what the outcome with that was.
There were a few Skype calls.
Yeah.
I don't think that people were quite as excited as Ian was about it. I think we had as many calls tonight on Skype as we did on the Skype-only night
right.
that we had. But
maybe that's because of the Skype-only night. It's encouraged more people to use it.
That would be the excuse that I would have if I was Ian. So this gal who is selling her degree online on eBay for $50,000, plus something to do with her experience or whatever, I don't know. She just kind of shows to me what some of the things are that, some of the failings that we have in, as far as telling our kids that they got to go to school, they got to go to college. I think that a lot of kids do not need to go to college, that they would be better off doing a lot of things. Say working, saving some money.
Well, what if her degree didn't cost $50,000 or whatever,
Well, sadly, that's the situation that we're in.
Well, what if her degree cost a more reasonable $5,000?
Then it might be a better choice, but the fact is that all the government funding that goes into colleges
takes away the market signals,
has driven up the cost of college. And people are getting these degrees that cost so much more than they're worth.
Right. People aren't paying for the degrees themselves. They're having mommy government do it for them. And so this market signals go away. There's nothing to tell, to say, we're not buying this degree at this price. It's ridiculous.
And what you'll see is that people are getting degrees in things that because they're told to go to school, get a degree in something. Right. The schools are providing degrees in anything, and they're getting degrees in anything, and they're
it's the
not
same
useful.
reason why healthcare is so freaking expensive. Yep. It's because all the market signals are gone.
That's it. That's what it comes down to is when the government gets involved, then it drives up pricing.
Massively.
And messes up customer service, too.
Right. And let's talk about healthcare for 1 second, because there's a lot of people that will think, well, it's only going up because Obamacare, and they totally ignore the 80 years of government intervention into healthcare leading up to the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act being implemented. So there's a regulation that exists that says if you take insurance and you take Medicare, that you must charge everyone the same as what you bill the insurance companies. So if somebody comes in and says, I'm paying you cash, how much is it? You have to charge them, or you're supposed to charge them, the same as what you would bill the insurance company if that person had insurance. Well, the problem is that insurance companies have deals worked out with doctors, and Medicare have deals worked out with doctors to where they pay 60% of what is billed to them. And the patient doesn't necessarily pick up the other 40%. It's just you bill us and we give you roughly 60%. And then you've got the things to where insurance companies will dispute some of the stuff of this is not a legitimate test. So in order to wind up getting the test that you need to make sure that's covered, you have that test plus about 5 other ones. That way something's getting paid for and you kind of get reimbursed for something. So you have people that are having all of these extra procedures that are being done just so the doctor can hopefully wind up getting reimbursed for his time and expenses when, that's causing prices to go up.
I don't think it works the same way in college. In college, what you have is you just have people getting these grants from the government, and they have all these secured loans, and basically they're tossing around free money that they didn't earn.
And colleges know, okay, we're going to get this money whether little Billy actually learns anything or not, so let's create a degree field where we just give little Billy a bunch of busy work classes and say he's got a general studies degree. And they start making up all of these other weird degrees to give people because people are like, oh, wow, they offer a degree in this. That would be fun. Okay, but how are you going to make a living with your degree in the history of Nintendo?
Just to mention government involvement in things, I believe that I might have scared some people today because it's now part of my job to stand in line almost every day at the post office because I need to drop off packages and we need to get them scanned because otherwise people at the post office will steal them, literally. Like if we leave packages at the post office and don't nanny the packages and lord over the packages until they're scanned into the system, someone at the post office will say, oh, this package hasn't been scanned. It's mine now.
You mean the postal workers will take it?
Yep, steal it. It's happened. It's happened with such an alarming frequency when the packages weren't being scanned that now it's more worth it to stand in line to get the packages scanned and wait. And so I've had to go through standing in line every day to wait for them to scan these packages. And today I was just standing in line and I get there at 1 in the afternoon or 2 or something. It's like around lunchtime, but just after. And there's one woman, kind of older woman who's the only person serving, and there's a line of customers.
Sounds about right.
One woman there, and I just started laughing.
And they've got 4
no
windows.
one knows why I'm laughing. I'm just laughing in the post office, out loud, just laughing. And, because I'm just thinking to myself, this is the only...
this was the grocery store.
This is the only business where they can just sit around and lose $6 billion a year and have no customer service whatsoever and just be a complete and utter failure because essentially the only reason why this business exists is because there is an army of men with guns protecting this stupid business with dumb the private express laws.
There was one time that I went into the post office and surprisingly there were 3 of the 4 customer service windows that were opened for about a half a second when the one person said, oh yeah, I'm on lunch now, and just folded the thing. As somebody's walking up to their window, oh, I'm on lunch now, and folded the thing over to say next window.
Right.
Well, that's the post office is a quasi-governmental agency. They have certainly a great deal of attachment to the federal government, but
being completely protected by the federal government's laws.
Yep.
Because if they didn't exist, neither would the Postal Service. If the private express statutes were not enforced,
what are they called?
The PES laws. It's the private express statutes. It's essentially what drove Lysander Spooner out of business because he started up the American Letter Mail Company.
Where he was competing delivery of first-class mail.
Yeah, and they shut him down. If there was first-class competition, there was a competition in first-class mail, the Postal Service would, I estimate, within 2 weeks. Now, there's a liberty activist. I won't name his name. I don't know if he cares. He's actually called this show several times. And he had an argument with me on my wall about this particular claim on Facebook about I claiming that they would be shut down within a few weeks. And his claim is, no, they do 80 times as much business as UPS and FedEx and whatnot. And my thought is, you know what? It doesn't matter. I think that they would be able to expand their infrastructure or just buy out the Postal Service. If the Postal Service was to go away and start to collapse, they just buy out the infrastructure and then improve it immediately.
Even if the U.S. Postal Service does more business as far as bulk, they still have a $20 billion difference between their profits of -9 and the $14 or $15 billion profits of UPS or FedEx.
Right.
But the post office gets subsidized by low rents in government buildings and that sort of thing. So
and they still lose billions.
Right.
They're not going anywhere. They're like public school. They're not leaving.
If those laws went away, they would be gone fast.
855
Competition.
450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, Free Talk Live, or LRN.FM on Skype.
This message is for home intruders, the cowards who break into people's homes to steal their hard-earned property, criminals who shatter lives and rob people of their privacy and security. Listen very carefully. We're the home security experts at LiveWatch, and we're taking you down. Because we're letting everyone try our newest home security system for 1 full year in their home. To take advantage of this amazing offer, call now, 1-800-670-9259. LiveWatch has been helping protect homes for years, and we've learned the secrets that intruders like you don't want people to know. Criminals, it's time for you to be afraid, because every person who calls will be protected against cowards like you. To the criminals listening, we're taking you down. To those who want to help protect their homes, call the security experts to try the LiveWatch security system. There are no long-term contracts, and if you're not completely satisfied, you can cancel at any time. Try LiveWatch now by calling 1-800-670-9259. That's 1-800-670-9259.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
The human body is more than 60% water. Your brain and muscles are 75% water. And your blood is 92% water. Water's vital to your body, and alkalizing your water is the key to keep it running at its best. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops keep your entire body healthy, boosts energy, promotes weight loss, and even fights cancer. Call 800-518-7615 or go to alkavision.com to find out more. That's ALKAvision.com.
Gold. It's like nothing else on Earth. From the Romans through the Renaissance, from the Industrial Age to the Space Age, gold has weathered the test of time. For 6,000 years, gold has remained the ultimate store of wealth. According to the World Gold Council and the U.S. Mint, demand is at an all-time high. The stage is being set for the reemergence of gold as the common-sense alternative to a fiat paper currency that gets weaker every day. Midas Resources is proud to offer the hard-hitting report that arms you with the truth you need to protect you and your family from the Fed's plans for your hard-earned money. Don't gamble with your future. Call Midas Resources today and ask for your free copy of As Good as Gold. Call 1-800-686-2237 for the report the Fed hopes you'll never see. As Good as Gold can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. If you have ever thought about owning gold, you must read this report. Call Midas today at 800-686-2237.
Now, a twice as nice Twin Kit special offer from Complete H2O Minerals for all GCN listeners. Get a Complete H2O Minerals Twin Kit with 33 different minerals, vitamins, and amino acids all in a liquid form. Enough for 2 people for 1 month. Regular price $89.95, but now Complete H2O Minerals is offering the Twin Kit for $69.95. And all GCN listeners receive a bonus 16-ounce bottle of Ionic Silver absolutely free with free shipping. A $120 total value. Hurry, limited time offer. Call 803-794-4767 or click CompleteH2OMinerals.com.
You're listening to Free Talk Live. Call in toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Yeah! Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. It's 855-450-3733. It's Mark with you.
Daryl.
And Johnson.
You can get gold and silver. If you need to get gold and silver, you can go to gold.freetalklive.com.
I need to get gold and silver.
Now's a good time. The prices are really low. Gold.freetalklive.com. We work with Midas Resources. I've done business with them for many years, and I'm always happy with them. You can go there, check out the selection we have, or give them a call. The number's 877-857-9938. 877-857-9938. Gold.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Skype. Rod calling in, wants to talk about Daryl Perry. What in the world do you want to do that for?
Yeah, I know that the post office is fascinating, but my wife and I
What are you
talk
trying to say,
often-
sir?
My
You're not
wife and I-
fascinated by the Postal Express statutes?
My wife and I often talk about Daryl Perry's declamatory style of speech.
He talks like this in real life.
I know, except when he's doing like a declamation, like when he's doing a commercial for his own books, then he talks normal. My wife says that he should be a boxing match announcer.
I don't know. You haven't apparently heard the FPP.cc commercials.
That's true. FPP.cc.
CC is in Creative Commons.
That's right.
Commons.
I love you guys.
It's funny that you mentioned sports announcer because that's actually what I wanted to do when I was in
What
college.
do you know about sports?
He knows that if you get hit in the head enough times, it causes problems.
Anyway,
my
have a
first
good
job
night,
in radio
guys.
was working
Thanks.
for a sports station.
What's that?
My first job in radio was working for a sports station.
What were you doing?
Was board hopping, producing local hockey games and a football finale show where they were going over scores and whatnot.
I think we need to teach Daryl how to puke on the radio. So he could do radio puking, because that would be very entertaining to hear Daryl
Puking
do.
specifically is
Puking in his sports voice. So you could be like, well, you're listening to the game.
I actually did that one time when I was doing traffic reports. That was my second job in radio, was doing traffic reports. I was Miles Marker, and there was one of the guys on some small little radio station. It was his final day. He was a big wrestling fan, and there was never any traffic in this little town that he lived in. And he was like, just have some fun, like make something up and do it in radio guy voice. And I was like, this is radio guy with your traffic. And
what's interesting about this is because your voice, your typical voice has so many pregnant pauses in everything that you say.
Yeah, that's how
so
he
to
talks.
hear you not pause and to run words into one another is disconcerting.
So what did you say? How did you lie to these people in this poor town about
this is Radio Guy, and there's an accident on Route 316 right by Know Your Role Boulevard where apparently a beer truck crashed in at the SmackDown Hotel, so you might want to take the bypass there.
So they don't have a 316?
No, and there's also not a Know Your Role Boulevard
Thank
or
God.
a SmackDown Hotel.
I think
Those are all wrestling references.
I see.
Glenn Jacobs will know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think we need to get Daryl to do some sort of ad in this voice.
I've had him cut ads for me. He does a great job. All right. Well, I guess we didn't.
That's shop@purse.com.
We didn't explain what puking was. So, I mean, when you give an inside reference like
I
this.
thought I did when I started doing this.
Right.
I kind of explained.
Right. You explain by doing it, but people don't necessarily know what it is.
Hey.
You're swallowing your words when you do it. Yeah.
It's especially, I think
it used to be the thing to do in radio.
I think Tom Brokaw is one of the worst about it because he couldn't do the L. He's like, it's 12 o'clock on the radio. They had this is Tom Brokaw on NBC Network News. It's like that horrible
from Lillehammer.
And it's like, what? It's 12 o'clock on the chronometer. Because he couldn't say clock.
I worked with a guy who had one of those deep radio guy voices. They used to work very hard to get them. Ian kind of has one that just sort of, I guess he was born with, or maybe it's so natural. I don't know. But Jim Davis, who brought me into radio, used to be the voice of WOR-FM. He's a big, deep voice guy, and he really, really, really laughed like the Count from Sesame Street.
Ha, ha,
I mean, really, that's how he laughed. And like when you do this long enough, when you develop that voice long enough, and now in radio, Mark Levin is a perfect example of how anybody with a voice, any kind of voice, can get on the radio now. But now it doesn't matter what your voice sounds like. Thank God. Otherwise, I would have never made it.
I don't know. There's still a lot of guys around that still do this puking voice, like Clark Howard. He swallows his L's.
Does he? I don't notice it.
Todd Schnitt has a horrible puking voice. Well, it's Todd Schnitt.
He did come from rock. He came from a pop station. Yeah. And I heard him tell a story, for those who do know who Todd Schnitt is, about actually puking on the radio. And he did not
I heard the story as well.
He didn't seem to understand how funny it is when Todd Schnitt talks about the worst, the biggest puker on the radio talks about puking on the radio.
Right.
And for like the first several years.
I thought you did it every day, Todd.
The first several years that he was doing his afternoon, evening talk show, he was still doing a rock morning radio show.
Yes, that's correct. No doubt about it. Well, I have a little story here that I think is worth pointing out. It turns out, America, or at least Great Britain, your kids are queer. Right here from ibtimes.co.uk, sexual orientation in the UK. Half of young people say they're not 100% heterosexual.
What does that even mean?
Well, are you familiar with the Kinsey scale?
No. Is that like the bell curve?
I suppose, for sexuality.
It means that there's maybe a 50% chance that they want a bit of the John Thomas in the morning.
It could be. This is for both men and women.
Right.
So what the Kinsey scale is it's a scale from 0 to 6.
Okay.
You can be anywhere on the scale from 0 to 6. 0 being completely heterosexual, 6 being completely homosexual.
Okay.
And as time's going by, apparently, and this is probably true in the United States, but I don't have a story about what's going on in the United States. As time goes by, apparently, generation by generation, people are more comfortable identifying as not completely heterosexual and not completely homosexual.
So is this the claim, and I've heard people make this claim before, that nobody is completely one or the other?
I disagree that nobody is completely one or the other. But,
okay, so that's not what they're claiming.
Right. They're claiming that sexuality is more fluid than we have sort of been allowed to think in our social roles.
So, like, I like guys on Monday, Wednesday, and every other Sunday, and the rest of the time I'm into girls and
think it works that way,
ducks.
I don't
think I don't understand here.
Well, you don't have
Why
to.
do people always jump to bestiality?
You don't have to defend your sexuality to me, Daryl. It's fine by me. If you want to be one of the 50% of people that's completely heterosexual, that's fine. You don't have to defend it to me. According to a new YouGov survey, 49% of 18 to 24-year-olds in Britain define themselves as something other than completely heterosexual. So that's the number. 43% place themselves on the non-binary area between 1 and 5 on the Kinsey scale, meaning that they're basically bisexual of some sort or another.
Quantum sexuality. I just came up with a new word. Quantum sexuality.
I think they would be omni.
Even if you never act on it, if you can still be somewhat bisexual, according to the Kinsey scale. This isn't an issue of practice. This is an issue of preference, or sort of innately what you were born with, or that sort of thing.
No, so let me explain the term quantum sexuality. So there's quantum physics and quantum computing. So like it's not necessarily a 1 or a 0. It's somewhere in between. It could be a 1 at one point in time. It could be a 0, but nobody really knows where it is. So is that what these people that are saying, like, I'm not necessarily straight?
No, it's hexadecimal, dude. That's what it is.
I think what they're saying is, I'll pop off a bit to the old jiggery pokery for about 20 quid, mate.
It's like, I'll do whatever will let me do it?
No, it's a preference issue. Just because you're bisexual doesn't mean you'll do anybody.
I know people that are like that, though.
That's not bisexual. That's a slut. I mean, it's a completely different thing. Going on here, it's apparently 6% are completely homosexual. This is in the 18 to 24 bracket, but 46% are completely heterosexual. So there you go. And as it goes as they get younger, it gets more likely that they'll identify this way. And I guess it's mildly interesting. The world's changing, whether you like it or not. It's been Mark with you.
Daryl.
And Johnson.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Pip, pip, cheerio.
If worst comes to worst, will you be prepared? You don't have to be a survivalist to prepare for the unexpected. Storing necessary supplies like food, water, and emergency equipment is simply taking responsibility for ourselves and our families when it counts the most. StrategicShelters.com offers emergency supplies and a secure way to store them, and provides protection for loved ones in the event of an extreme natural or man-made disaster. To find out more, visit StrategicShelters.com.
Kid, let me paint you a picture. Tuesday night, your cog belt goes bust. Who will help you get what you need fast, without the hoops, hurdles, or headaches? Grainger, that's who. I love Grainger. They got a wide variety of products and solutions. Grainger makes it easy to get everything we need, and answers for when we're not sure what the answer is. Now, kid, let me paint you another picture. It looks like a mop, a basement bathroom, and you, all over it. Get it? Got it? Good. Call clickgrainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Walt Augustinowicz. I'm the founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. By now you've heard our commercials about wallets that protect you from electronic pickpocketing. 10 years ago, I created a way to protect my own cards from prying eyes after government officials started talking about issuing a national ID card with a built-in radio chip called RFID. I felt having to broadcast my personal information was an invasion of privacy. Soon after, it was also announced that credit cards, debit cards, U.S. passports, hotel room keys, and even transit passes would all soon incorporate RFID. It was then I formed ID Stronghold to share my inventions in blocking RFID signals with the world. There are a lot of misconceptions out there today about RFID. I encourage everyone to get informed and get protected. Please go to idstronghold.com and get the facts and the wallets, sleeves, or badge holders you need to protect your personal financial data. You'll be pleasantly surprised that through our direct sales model, you won't pay more than other comparable unprotected wallets. It is as though the protection is free. Visit idstronghold.com today.
Exposing the lies. USA Prepares with Vincent Finelli. GCN.